there it is. Okay, we're doing this. Not talking. There we go. Fixed. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Can you taste the vanilla tonight? It's a typical Brady Beaver stream. You would know that because we're late. That's how you know. That's the best way to know that we're having a typical stream tonight. Now we are joined by the great and wonderful Team Skeptic, who was also kind enough to take charge, grab a hold of the horns, and set up some format before we got started because I'm terrible. That said, yes, thank you to Team Skeptic for showing up in what is probably his nap time, I imagine. And then we've also got here.
I just woke up, so
that's kind of what I meant. I didn't get the words out right. And then of course tonight with us we have Mr. AJ Hieb. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And I also have a name
that is correct.
I need to pronounce up there. I see you, Merrick. I'm gonna get to that last name. Don't worry. So yes, and then of course we have Phillip Kornelis.
Yep.
Kornelis, is that the one?
That's it.
Okay. Aman, and I imagine I pronounced that part right. So, and yeah, so we have a fun little gathering today where we're going to discuss, religion is going to be a subset of it. I guess, I'll let Philip kind of state his case, but I believe somebody is going to provide evidence for the proof of God. So this is always a contentious issue. I want to remind everybody, and I'm kind of the worst for this, so I'm talking to myself here, just so everybody knows. I'm trying to be fair. Let's try to all be, fair to each other. Debates being what they are. I'm a heated person. That's why I'm happy that I'm not in this debate. I get to watch, for the most part. So that said, I guess at this point, what we're going to do is typical format, which is like 10-minute, 10-minute, and then a freestyle. So Philip is going to start, and he's going to present evidence. He's going to
Well,
present.
hey, hold on,
Or
hold
did I
on,
get
Brittany,
this
hold
wrong
on, hold
already?
on.
See,
Yes,
fucked
you
it
got
up
it wrong.
already.
Hold on, hold on. Let
See,
me explain
AJ's
it.
too
So
nice
that
of a
way,
guy. You're supposed to jump in, buddy.
hey, hold on, hold on. Let me explain this so people
That's why I
don't
brought this
get,
asshole.
what's going. Hold on. Let me explain what's going on so people don't get a misunderstanding and say, well, why didn't he do this?
Okay.
So Philip has a positive position and that God exists. He intends on bringing evidence to suggest that God exists. And AJ is taking the contrapositive position and is not actually holding a positive position in this debate. So we're only going to be presenting Philip's side, and AJ will be basically his side is going to be to debate Philip's side, if that makes sense. So
I see
we're
what you mean.
not
Yeah, he wasn't.
actually
We're not
going
debating
to
against the existence of God
we're
so much
not
as against his
yeah.
evidence
So
of existence of God.
right,
Gotcha.
right.
Gotcha.
So
No, that makes complete sense to me. And sorry for getting.
I just
that
want to
wrong.
make sure that the people understand the format, so they're not like,
Well,
well,
apparently
when's
I need to
AJ going to
understand the
present his?
format too. So this was a good conversation, everybody.
Okay.
I'm here to have a fun time. Let's all have fun. Okay, so I want to also remind the super chatters to try not to be so vicious. I mean, we're all we all like to have fun in that chat, and I'm as bad as anybody. So, and Philip, I hope that you've seen the debates and seen some of the super chats that come through, and you've got a bit of a thick skin on you, and you're ready. So let's do
Yeah,
this. Yeah, you're good. Okay, as long as you're good, we're all good. I love it. Let's get started. I guess I gotta get a timer going here. So whenever you're ready, Philip, you can take it away. Oh, kill this music again. You guys can't hear.
okay. Okay, my name is Phillip Kornelis Aman. I'm a Christian. I have a YouTube channel titled Phillip Kornelis Aman. I take the position that the tangible universe had a beginning, contingent on an immaterial and omnipotent cause, because tangible and azoic energy and matter cannot move on its own without an outside particular. This comports with the first law of motion, that energy and matter at inertia will remain at inertia unless acted upon by another particular. If you reject that, then your only alternative is pantheism, which is debunked with the zeroth law of thermodynamics, the law of identity, and the law of non-contradiction. If you reject pantheism, your only alternative, well, then you're still in a predicament that tangible and eternal energy and matter cannot be eternal in a open system with the second law of thermodynamics. And tangible energy and matter cannot be eternal in an open system. Sorry, not in a closed system with the zeroth law of thermodynamics. That yields my time. Because AJ here will play semantics, he would dodge, he may possibly lie. So that's why I have to ask him questions to narrow down on his beliefs. So I yield the rest of my time.
Hold on. Were you just presenting for yourself?
That was just an opener.
Okay, that was an opener. Okay, good deal. Good deal. All right, AJ.
Okay, so first of all, I will give it up to Philip and that he has the way, way, way harder position to hold here. I'm taking the almost cop out position of, well, no, you're just wrong, is just effectively all I'm going to be asserting in this argument. I'm not arguing against God or anything like that. I just don't think that his proof is sufficient to actually demonstrate a God of the Bible or anything like that. So my first thing is, before we can even get into whether or not God exists, I think we need to actually properly define what God it is that we're trying to prove or disprove before we can get past anything else. Once we get a definition for what that God is, then we can talk about those attributes and whether or not those are applicable and can be proven and demonstrated. Uh, that would be my first jumping off point is like what are the attributes and properties of the God that we're discussing? Because we could point to any of tens of thousands of deities over the ages. So I think we sort of need to start off with narrowing, getting a bullseye on what God we're talking about.
All right.
Well, we have. Oh,
Well,
is
hold
that
on,
my
Philip. Well,
time?
well, no, that was his intro. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to kick it over to you and give you 10 uninterrupted minutes. You're going to present your side, presenting the evidence, any philosophical viewpoints, whatnot that may support your side, and then we'll give him 10 minutes to debate or to refute point by point. And then we'll move to the opening or to the open conversation. So right now you have 10 minutes uninterrupted for you to solidify your point or your position.
Well, in order to discuss which God that is, we have to debate a God in general. So that's the topic of cosmogony. From there, we can discuss theology on which God that is. But I have to convince you of a God in general first. What is your response?
So, well, my response to that would be you appear to be attempting something that is similar to, it's not exactly, but it's similar to the Texas sharpshooter fallacy, where you are painting a target around whatever it is we get to and then say, that's God, instead of defining the God that you're trying to prove and then providing evidence to demonstrate that God. We're kind of, you're presupposing the conclusion and then trying to work your way back from there. So that's why I think it's important that we actually nail down the definition of the God that you're proving ahead
Well,
of
I think
time.
with his 10 uninterrupted minutes, I believe he should, if he is put his evidence together well enough, he should be able to define what he means by his God during that 10 minutes. Is that correct, Philip? Because we really need to get into the letting him present side so that we can give you the refutation side. And unless you guys just want to throw those two rounds out of the water and go to the direct back and forth, but that doesn't really give either one of you a chance to present your side.
Uh, I'm perfectly okay with kind of jumping into the back and forth. I suspect Philip probably will be okay with that too, based on the other debates I've seen him do. I don't want to speak for him, but I'm perfectly okay to do that.
Yeah, well,
That
okay.
sounds
Well,
okay.
my definition of God is and I'll elaborate on this. God in my worldview is immaterial, omnipotent, omnipresent, antecedents before tangible energy and matter, with a consciousness to choose to interact and further manipulate tangible energy and matter. This comports with the first law of motion that tangible energy and matter at inertia cannot move on its own. So if you extrapolate that back to terminus a quo, meaning the origin of the universe, an immaterial, omnipotent consciousness is necessary for the very first movement of tangible energy and matter at zilch locomotion. So this puts you back to an immaterial and eternal cause, which comports with the Bible. I have different arguments for the God of the Bible, but this comports with the God of the Bible because the universe had a beginning. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Yeah, well, look, I'm happy to have a back and forth. I'll yield my time to AJ's response.
Okay. Well, can I ask you a couple questions in terms of narrowing down the definition of God? Is that okay?
Yeah, an immaterial omnipotence with a consciousness.
Right. Well, but I have a few other questions about as far as his attributes or its attributes. Would you be amenable to answering a few questions about that God?
Okay.
Is it a monotheistic God?
Yeah, it's a single God.
Okay. So is that God able to coexist with any other gods?
There couldn't be a second God because that
Okay.
implies a gap.
Okay.
God is omnipresent, therefore he is everywhere.
Okay. Is it an unchanging God?
Yes, God is an unmoved mover. He is omnipresent, not contingent on an outside particular.
Okay. So is God actionable?
Yes, God has a consciousness to interact with energy and matter at inertia.
Okay. Couple more and we're done. Is God subject to the laws of physics?
No, he created energy and matter, therefore he is outside the laws of thermodynamics.
Okay. Is God subject to the laws of logic?
He is outside the laws of logic because we cannot see the immaterial. So therefore, A is A. He's outside the law of identity. Tangible energy and matter had a beginning. Therefore, he is outside the law of non-contradiction. That's A is B at the same time A isn't B. So because God is immaterial, he is not material simultaneously. So
So
therefore, yeah.
I feel like we're going to run into a problem here moving forward, because if we have an illogical, unphysical God that is not subject to the laws of physics or the laws of logic, how are you going to use the laws of physics and the laws of logic to then prove a God that is not subject to those? It becomes a
There's no
non
issue there.
sequitur.
He's not a contradiction, and he's not contingent on the law of identity. So look, we'll just have a back and forth. I'll be on the affirmative with my question.
Well, but I don't understand. I guess, or there appears to be a gap here, and I don't see how we bridge that gap of using the laws of logic and the laws of physics to demonstrate that God exists if he's not subject to those laws. It's like trying to, for lack of a better analogy, if we had some foreign consulate here from another country who was not subject to the laws of the US or the laws of Australia, wherever he happens to be, and trying to arrest him under those laws, that doesn't work. Those laws don't apply to him, so we can't use those laws to prosecute or demonstrate. They don't apply. So if you're saying they don't apply, then why are we even talking about logic and physics?
I'm proving that God created tangible energy and matter, and this comports with Genesis 1:1. That's in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So my first question to you, uh, what was the very first cause of tangible energy and matter to get movement? Was it an immaterial cause or a material cause?
Uh, well, but before we move on, I I don't think we've bridged that gap yet.
What gap?
The you're asserting logic and physics in an attempt to prove something that logic and physics don't apply to. So it's a non sequitur. We're never going to get from physics exists and all these things happen to God, because God is not subject to those laws and rules that we're talking about. Like, we need a set of laws and rules that
You're
apply
not
to God in order to
listening.
show God.
I said I'm proving that God created tangible energy and matter, and this comports with Genesis 1:1. Have you not read Genesis 1:1, the
I'm
very
familiar
first
with
sentence?
I'm familiar with Genesis 1:1.
Okay, so that's my position. I said he is outside the law of identities. You can't see the immaterial, but we can demonstrate that the immaterial is the antecedent cause for tangible energy and matter. To reiterate my question, what was the movement of energy and matter, the cause for the movement of energy and matter in your worldview? Did it have a beginning, or was it always in a state of movement?
That's a difficult question to answer. I don't know an answer to that. I believe there was a point where time did not exist, so it's going to be there was a the universe does not go back indefinitely through time, but that is not necessarily a finite beginning of the universe, as that would imply that there was a point where where like time can't start, but there was a point where there was no time.
You only have two options. This is a true dichotomy because it comports with the law of excluded middle, that it's either A or not A. To elaborate on this, if you say that tangible energy and matter was always in a state of movement, then you're alluding to pantheism, that all tangible energy and matter consists of life for it to be moving internally. The other option is that tangible energy and matter, the movement had a beginning, therefore it is contingent on an immaterial and omnipotent God. So no matter what option you choose, you'll always fall back to a God. So what is your response?
Well, first of all, we had agreed before the debate started that we weren't going to strawman each other and assert positions upon each other. So you can ask me questions and tell me what it is, and I can respond to those, and you can tell me that I have two options and maybe that's true and maybe it's not, but you can't tell me I am alluding to various things if I haven't actually affirmed that that is my position. So let's not do that anymore.
Sorry.
And the as far as your question, your terminology is fairly sketchy. You're talking about like the movement of energy, and energy isn't really moving so much as it is propagating it. So I don't know that I necessarily agree with your terminology that you're using.
If I remember correctly, you said that time had a beginning. Time is just a measurement for the movement of energy and matter. So then you're implying that tangible energy and matter, the movement, had a beginning. So in order for all tangible energy and matter today, which is said to be 10 to the power of 50 in tons, requires an omnipotent and immaterial cause, therefore God.
Well, that is a giant leap you're taking, which, if you want to elaborate on how an omnipotence is required in order to do that, I'm willing to listen, but I'm not going to let you just assert that and accept it as true. I don't know that you've provided any evidence to support the omnipotence that is required in order to do that.
You have an immaterial particular that doesn't consist of tangible energy and matter. Therefore, it is purely supernatural. For a supernatural particular to interact with all tangible energy and matter today, to go from zilch locomotion to consistent ambulation, requires an omnipotence. So just to make this very simple, you have two particulars. Particular A is the immaterial, and particular B is the material / energy and matter. Those two particulars are conjoined to each other with no gaps in between. For particular A / immaterial to interact for the movement of particular B / material requires a conscious choice and an omnipotence to have the power to push all that energy and matter into movement. Therefore, God.
Okay, again, you're making an assertion, you're not providing any evidence. You've not shown me why it is necessary for there to be a consciousness, and you've not shown me why it's necessary for an omnipotence to do that. You're just asserting that.
You're not listening. You have two particulars conjoined to each other. So there's no third particular.
What are the two particulars that are joined to each other?
The immaterial and the material. You said earlier that time had a beginning. So you're alluding to that tangible energy and matter, the movement had a beginning. So you have tangible energy and matter at inertia, and then for it to move
Well, I'm sorry, hang on.
from
You said at inertia. What does that mean?
at rest, at zilch
Okay.
locomotion.
Okay.
So you have a stationary particular, and then for it to move requires an outside force.
Okay.
That outside force.
What went from motion to not motion? I'm not asserting that.
You have to assert gravity. Gravity is just a label for an immaterial, omnipotent consciousness, therefore God. If you reject that, gravity is just a label then for tangible energy and matter, with a consciousness to be moving internally, not contingent on an outside cause. Therefore, you're alluding to pantheism. No matter what option you choose, you'll always be put back to a god.
So I want to make sure I understand correctly. You're saying that gravity is the label that we're giving to the omnipotent, omnipresent, immaterial consciousness that created the universe, correct?
For the very first movement of tangible energy and matter at terminus a quo, meaning before any movement of tangible energy and matter. So yes, gravity is a label for a god.
Okay, so we're saying that well, you said gravity is label for a god. Now, were we saying that that's the label for the god that we're moving towards?
Okay, so we could discuss which god that is. I take two main reasons for me is that the universe had a beginning. This comports with Genesis 1:1, and the second reason is that is John 3:16. Because God is good by default, it would be good for him to be the first cause to send down the best evidence for us to follow. If you reject that God is good by default, your only alternative is a deistic God, an evil God. However, that is a contradiction because we don't experience evil at the level of a God from the very start. Your only alternative now is a good God, and this comports with the law of excluded middle and the law of polarity. So this is a true dichotomy. What is your response?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. For starters, the law of polarity isn't a law. Second of all, you've run into a problem if you're going to ascribe the attributes of gravity and say that that is effectively our label for the Christian God. Because you acknowledged earlier that the God that you were proving is an unchanging God. Gravity is not an unchanging force. Gravity was unified with the other three forces during the Planck epoch subsequent to the Big Bang. Gravity is changed and altered. It was unified with three other things that would also be, by your description, also be considered gods. So effectively what you've just demonstrated is there was one God that then split into four gods, and now you're calling one of those gods the God of the Christian Bible. So as long as you're trying to assert that this unchanging God is gravity, you've got a problem because gravity is not unchanging.
You're filibustering too much. The law of polarity is a fact. You could Google that. We are on the topic of theology. So if you want to go back to cosmogony, well, then you have to provide an argument or a rebuttal to what I presented earlier, and then you jump back to theology again to assert multiple gods, which I've already discussed with you that there can only be one God because a second God implies a gap. So therefore, those two particulars are finite in size, contingent on an infinite in size, particular. So to address the gravity, as I said earlier, we are debating a God in general, and then from there we can discuss which God that is. So
Well,
which topic are
well,
we on?
no, that's the Texas sharpshooter fallacy you're trying to employ.
No, hang on. What my question to you, are we on the topic of cosmogony or theology?
We're on the topic of you attempting to prove a God and me trying to refute it. That's going to cover all of those things.
Yeah, as I said earlier, you're going to play semantics, you're going to lie. So I'm just going to ask you a question. In your worldview, do you believe that tangible energy and matter is eternal, or did it have a beginning? There isn't a third option.
Okay, let's unpack this. Are we talking about energy or matter? They're two different things. We can talk about them, but we're not going to lump them together like they're the same thing because
matter consists of energy. Energy converts into matter. So
water and ice are made of the same thing, but they're not the same thing. We give them different labels because they have different attributes. We're not going to talk about two things with different attributes as if they're the same. Are we talking about energy or are we talking about matter? We can talk about them both, but we're going to do it separately.
See, more semantics. Do you believe that tangible matter is eternal in your worldview, or did it have a beginning? Matter is energy and something that has weight. That's why we call it matter, because it has weight to it.
Well,
energy / light has no weight.
Matter
Look, just
doesn't
answer the
inherently
question.
have weight. You're making all kinds of assertions that are just
your
not
body.
true.
Your body consists of matter. You weigh. I would assume over
weight is an
70
attribute.
kilos.
This is where he can toss a jab, and I assume over like 300 pounds he tosses a low. I'm just joking. I'm having fun there. You keep going, you guys. You're doing great.
Yeah, Brainy, let them keep going. This is a good conversation.
No, I like this. You guys are doing awesome.
Don't interrupt them. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you. So for starters, we need to differentiate between weight and mass. Matter has mass in general, but it doesn't necessarily have weight. Weight is a application of a force onto mass. So when you talk about things weighing something, that's only in reference to sitting here on Earth. It's not the same thing as mass. Matter in general can have mass. There is matter that is effectively massless. We have massless particles. A photon is a particle that has a mass, a zero rest mass.
Okay, I'm going to make this very simple.
I love simple.
The star in our solar system that consists of tangible hydrogen and helium, did that have a beginning, or is that eternal in your worldview?
That had a beginning, but I'm also curious why you keep throwing the word tangible in front of everything. Are we
tangible? Because if I don't specifically elaborate on what I'm telling you, you just play dumb and just ask for definitions. So you said that the tangible star in our solar system had a beginning. So my next question to that was the formation of the star. Did that have a beginning, or was there a time before the formation of that three-dimensional structure?
You're asking if there was a time before the star existed?
Before the formation of the star.
Before the formation of the star, yes. There was a time where the formation of the star had not begun yet, yes.
Okay, my next question to you. Prior to the formation of tangible stars, was tangible energy omnipresent, or was it not omnipresent?
I don't know.
You only have two options. Okay, I'll have to educate you. If you assert that it's omnipresent, then you're stuck at 0 because you need an immaterial prime mover to get you tangible hydrogen for the very first protostar.
No, I don't.
Hang on, say that again.
No, I don't.
No, you don't. What?
You said I need an intangible whatever prime first mover in order to make that happen, and I'm saying no, I don't.
Okay, so your only alternative is a tangible cause. So you're alluding to pantheism?
No.
Yes or no? Okay, so
neither of those. See, you're asserting positions upon me, and I don't accept either of those. If you want to ask me what my position is on something, ask me what my position is. Don't ask me a question and then take my answer and say that means you actually mean this. If you want to tell me, if you want to get me to this other spot, that's fine. You can lead me there by asking me other questions and pointing out citations and other things, but don't just tell me, well, this is your position.
You rejected an intangible cause, therefore your only alternative is a tangible cause. The tangible is the energy and matter around us.
No, I rejected the idea that there is I'm rejecting the whole premise that you're putting forth, that it has to be this dichotomy of one of these things. I haven't accepted the fact that there has to be a cause yet.
You have to have a cause for the movements, because you said that the star had a beginning. So you rejected an immaterial cause. Your only alternative is a material cause. This is a true dichotomy because it comports with the laws of logic, the law of excluded middle, that it's either A or not A. So it's either immaterial or it's not immaterial. If you assert that it's not immaterial, then your only alternative is that it's material.
Okay, so let's clarify what it is.
Hang on, you're interrupting. Okay. So you claim you rejected the immaterial, you're now stuck with the material. So you're then alluding to that all tangible energy and matter is moving on its own, internally, not contingent on an outside force.
I said none of those things.
You rejected an immaterial cause. This is your only alternative.
Well, no. First of all, I rejected the premises that you tied to an immaterial cause. I didn't reject an immaterial cause. You're putting forth multiple ideas at once, and if I reject any part of it, you're saying I'm rejecting the whole thing. That's not what I did.
So you have an immaterial cause. So
I didn't say that either.
My question. Well, you said I don't know to this question. Well, using deductive reasoning, we can rule out that tangible, omnipresent energy and matter is a fallacy because you require.
You just smuggled in omnipresent. That wasn't part of the original question. So stop changing your definition.
That was the question I asked you earlier. Do you, before the formation
Bitch, are you dumb? Pardon me? Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb. Tangible energy and matter omnipresent? Or was it not omnipresent? Are you
like I'm not trying to be mean. Like, are you dumb?
I think you weren't asking about stars in general. So if you wanted to
go back, the star. Hang on, you're not gonna.
She's dumb.
Fooling me. I asked you.
Bitch, are you dumb? Pardon me? Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb. Are you formation of tangible stars at a beginning?
Are you like?
You said yes.
Like I'm not trying to be mean. Like, are you dumb?
System. You asked about one specific star, so let's not change contexts.
I just need to apologize to everybody because that audio, I wasn't able to hear it on my end, but apparently I think it was playing to people. So if they were getting blasted out by some red level audio, I really apologize to the audience. So continue, guys.
Look, you weren't listening with my opener, because if you assert eternal tangible stars, well, that's debunked with the zeroth law of thermodynamics.
I did not assert eternal stars.
Are tangible, in your worldview, are tangible stars eternal or not?
Stars are not eternal in my worldview.
Tangible stars that consist of hydrogen and helium.
Unless you're aware of any other types of stars.
Yeah, I just want to be on point before you play semantics. So, before the formation of tangible stars, was tangible energy and matter omnipresent, or was it not omnipresent?
Are we talking about energy or matter? We're not going to talk about both in the same terms. We're going to split those up.
Matter.
Not the same thing.
I'll just say matter.
Okay, so what's the question as it pertains to matter?
Before the formation, of tangible stars, was tangible matter omnipresent or was it not omnipresent?
Not omnipresent.
Okay, so you have a finite in size particular outside the curvature is an immaterial particular.
What curvature?
You said that it's not omnipresent, therefore it is finite in size with height, depth, and width, the 3 dimensions of a shape. Therefore, outside the curvature.
Curvature of what?
Do you know the words coming out of my mouth? Do you know what? Can you just? I need to.
You're just saying outside the curvature. Outside the curvature of what?
For me to suss out your ignorance, I need to suss out your ignorance. Can you tell me the 3 dimensions of a shape?
Height, width, and depth.
Yeah. So you have a particular with height, depth, and width. Therefore, outside the curvature. You know what curvature means?
The curvature of what? You're not saying outside of what curvature. You're just saying curvature.
Outside the curvature of that finite in size particular of
which particular are we
matter.
talking about?
Hang on. You said that tangible energy was not omnipresent. Therefore,
I didn't say anything about tangible energy.
Yes, you did.
We're talking about matter.
Yes, you did. Tangible matter. You said that tangible matter was not omnipresent. Therefore, it is finite in size with a curvature. Therefore, outside the curvature is an immaterial and an infinite in size particular with a consciousness and an omnipotence to choose to interact with tangible energy and matter, going from zilch locomotion to consistent ambulation, and an omnipotence to have that ability to interact with all tangible energy and matter. Therefore, God.
Okay, you done grandstanding for a second?
You have no rebuttal to this.
Are you done grandstanding for a second?
I mean, in his defense,
I just have to play through your semantics.
Are you done grandstanding for a second? And I'll reply.
Are you going to reply with asking me a definition, or do you have a rebuttal?
Are you done?
Yeah. What's your response?
My response is I didn't acknowledge any of that. All I said was that matter was finite.
Okay, premise 1, if finite in size tangible energy and matter, hang on, let me rephrase this. Premise 1, if tangible energy and matter is finite in size. Hang on.
We're talking about matter. We're not talking about energy right now. Leave energy out of it. We're talking about matter.
Yeah. Premise 1, if tangible matter is finite, then outside the curvature is an immaterial particular.
The curvature of what?
Of tangible matter.
Okay, thank you.
That's premise 1. Do you have a rebuttal, or do you grant me premise 1?
So, okay, let's be clear. Repeat it for me one more time. I missed the tail end. I'm sorry.
Premise 1. If tangible matter is finite in size before the formation of tangible stars, then outside the curvature is an immaterial particular.
That is the most giant non sequitur I think I've ever seen.
That's just an assertion. Do you have a rebuttal to that, or do
Yours
you
is
grant
just
me
an
premise
assertion?
1?
All you did is make an assertion that doesn't go anywhere. You just said there must be an immaterial thing, and that doesn't follow logically.
That's another assertion. Do you have a rebuttal, or do you grant me premise 2? I'm not getting off premise 1. You're stuck at premise 1 now.
Well, no, you're stuck at premise 1 until you actually provide information to back up that premise. You've just made the assertion with no demonstrable evidence to support it.
You said earlier that before the formation of tangible stars, tangible matter was not omnipresent. Therefore, it is finite in size. To reiterate premise 1, if tangible matter is finite in size at terminus a quo, then tangible, then outside. Hang on, wait. You're interrupting premise one. Come on. So I have to start again. Premise one. If tangible matter is finite in size, then a second particular, that being the immaterial, exists. What is your response?
Well, first of all, you were trying to pull in this terminus a quo thing. So clearly you're trying to switch things around here because you're talking about...
Do you know what terminus a quo means? Before,
you're talking about before,
let me elaborate on that.
You're talking about before stars were formed, and now you're going to the very beginning of the universe. You realize that in the very beginning of the universe, to where stars began to form was hundreds of thousands of years, right? Like, you understand that. That's not something that's beyond you, right? You realize you're just jumping hundreds of thousands of years of time and going, just ignore that.
What's your response to premise? Do you grant me premise one?
Well, you've phrased premise one like 7 different ways. So no, I don't grant it because you haven't. If you don't grant me premise one, then you have a rebuttal. What is your rebuttal to premise one? I don't have to provide a rebuttal. You haven't substantiated it.
If you don't provide a rebuttal, then you have forfeited this debate.
If I could impose on Brainy for a moment, I believe in my uploaded stuff that I had provided for him, I had a sound bite in there. Would we be able to pull that up?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for reminding me about those. You emailed them to me, and I was expecting them in Discord, but yes, I can grab that in 10 seconds. It's
awesome.
Okay, I think I want to step in for a second and kind of get this conversation on track. I think what AJ is trying to tell you, Phillip, is that if you make the assertion that cars are made from tornadoes inside of junkyards, and I'm not saying that's your assertion, I'm saying let's hypothetically say that you say premise one is that cars are made inside of junkyards by tornadoes. And he goes, I don't, hold on. Hold on. Let me finish.
Hang on, you're not steel manning my position because you haven't been listening.
Phillip,
you don't know the
hold the fuck up. Hold on, Phillip. What do you mean I haven't been listening? I've been fucking sitting here listening to you fucking grandstand this whole time. So I'm trying to help advance this debate.
Look, I could debate you later.
Hold on. I know.
He's moderating
exactly.
right now. That's what he's doing.
I'm moderating right fucking now.
But you're not presenting my argument.
Shut up.
You're misrepresenting my premise.
Quiet. Let me finish.
You're misrepresenting my premise.
Phillip,
you can say that when he's done, but let him finish.
Okay. I'm not arguing for or against you right now. So I don't understand what the fuck you're even arguing with me for. Why don't you just close your mouth, let me finish my sentence, and then you can rephrase what your premise is so that he can answer your question. If you assert that something A happens because of some reason B, and you ask him to debunk it, if you haven't substantiated that A happens because of B, then he has no point to debunk. So all I'm asking you, if you can, please, what he's saying is substantiate your claim. I understand where he's coming from. I haven't entered into this argument one time. I'm trying to help both of you guys get beyond the first point. So now substantiate your point so that he can have a chance to debunk it.
Phillip,
no, I'm the fucking moderator. I'm the moderator.
Yeah,
You'll
Phillip,
stop talking when I fucking start.
I mean, come on, Phillip.
Okay, I'm going to repeat premise one. And I'm going to speak very slowly.
Do it logically this time.
If tangible matter is finite in size before the formation of tangible hydrogen, then outside the curvature is a second particular. What is your response? Do you grant me that, or do you have a rebuttal to that?
Well, my first response is I don't know if Brainy got the sound clip yet.
I have a sound clip. I just didn't want to load it in here because it might start playing immediately and it might start playing very loud. So I'm just going to open it in a file format right now if you're ready. So what is this off of? Is this like a...
This is a clip from a debate with Phillip and another gentleman.
Hang on, what's going on here?
Well, it's a 3-second audio clip, Phillip. We're allowed to use as evidence as things. I gave you the option.
Okay.
I said to you yesterday that if you wanted to send me files that you could use in your case, that you were welcome to. I gave
Yeah,
you
but
the
is this a straw man argument?
Well, you'd have
It's
to
your
fucking well
words,
hear
Phillip.
it then, wouldn't you, before you know, Phillip? That's the thing. You got to shut up and listen. God damn, you keep making assertions about what people are saying. Well, we're still getting it playing. Oh my god.
I'm just asking a question.
Nothing's coming to us, Brainy. Nothing's coming to us. We can't hear anything.
Well, no, I didn't play it yet. It's only 3 seconds long, so I'm just making sure everybody's ready. We all gotta be quiet. It's only a 3-second clip. Is this the right one? Or is this, AJ, is this going to be the right one? No, I'm not playing it yet. Is it 3 seconds? Is that going to be correct? Okay, no, I'm just making sure.
That's the one.
Okay, I'll play it right now. Everybody ready? I just need to make sure it comes through to you, so I just got to watch my voice meter as I hit it here. You'll hear it if I do this.
Whatever can be presented.
I'm just going to have to turn it up. 1 second. I'll turn it up. That's my desktop audio, so you'll get desktop sounds too, so don't be surprised if you get a nice Windows noise at some point.
Whatever can be presented without evidence, I can dismiss without evidence.
Okay. So that's
okay, but the evidence is all around us. Empirical evidence. You are finite in size.
That doesn't get you to your conclusion of your premise.
I'm looking at you right now. You got your webcam up. You are finite in size with height, depth, and width.
Right.
Outside the so extrapolate that back. You have finite. This is premise 1 again.
So you've once again stated it differently, because this time, instead of talking about stars, you just said hydrogen. So are we talking about the formation of stars, or are we talking about the formation of hydrogen? Because that's two completely different processes.
Yeah, hydrogen and helium to get the very first star. So premise 1, if tangible matter, hang on, you're making me lose my train of thought. Premise 1, if tangible matter is finite in size before the movement of energy and of tangible matter, then a second particular outside the curvature exists. Do you grant me that?
No.
Why don't you grant me that?
Because you've not done anything to demonstrate that it is true.
Do you know what finite in size means?
I do know what finite in size means.
Okay, what does it? Then tell me what it means. I know the answer to this question.
Finite in size means it has a measurable set of dimensions.
Yes. So outside the curvature is something else. Yes or no?
Not inherently.
You just said it has dimensions. So a mobile phone is a 3-dimensional object.
Okay. Are we talking about your mobile phone, or are we talking about all of the mass in the universe?
Hang on. Am I still coming in?
Yes.
You're going to have to repeat that.
Are we talking about your mobile phone, or are we talking about all the matter in the universe?
Yeah, you claim finite in size tangible matter. So outside the curvature is something else.
I don't know that to be true. You've just asserted that. There's nothing to demonstrate that is true.
You don't know if what is true.
Your assertion. You're asserting that
what
there's
was my
something
assertion?
else. That something, if tangible matter is finite in size, then there is something that exists outside of that. That's your assertion, and there's nothing to. You've provided nothing to substantiate that.
You have finite in size material particular. If just hypothetically, if you're standing inside of that 3-dimensional structure, and you poke your arm out, there would be something outside the curvature.
Okay, are we talking about me being in a structure, or are we talking about all the matter in the universe? Because before, I was under the impression we were talking about all the matter in the universe, and there's nothing to give me any reason to believe that there's something that exists outside of all the matter in the universe.
Okay, you're alluding to a singularity.
And you're straw manning me.
No, that's what a singularity is. That all the belief behind it is that all the energy and matter was compressed into a dot.
I said nothing about anything being.
But that's the finite. That's the finite in size structure.
I said nothing about that.
Yes, you did. You said
I
You said that it's not omnipresent.
First of all, you were asking me about what happened before the formation of the sun, and now you're changing to the first instantiation of the universe.
I didn't
Those are
ask
not.
you what happened. I asked you, was tangible matter omnipresent or was it not omnipresent? You said that it was not omnipresent, therefore it is finite in size.
Right.
So you're got so that's just a singularity is just a label to finite in size, tangible matter.
Actually,
So,
singularity is not finite in size.
okay, so then you got omnipresent tangible matter. You're stuck at zero.
Nope.
You have no movement.
Nope.
You need an immaterial cause.
Nope.
You need to elaborate on your no.
Well, no, you need to ask me what I believe and not just tell me what my straw man position is.
You're flipping and flopping. You said that it's not omnipresent. Now you're saying that it is omnipresent.
You're switching context. Are we talking about the very beginning of the universe, or are we talking about just prior to the formation of the sun? Those are two different things. Which one are we talking about?
Before the movement, before there was any movement.
Movement of what?
Of tangible matter.
There was no tangible matter at the instantiation of the universe.
Okay, so are you saying that tangible matter had a beginning?
I'm saying that tangible matter didn't exist at the beginning of the universe. It was energy.
Okay, energy converts into matter. They are one and the same.
They are not one and the same. Water and ice are not the same. They have different attributes. That's why we give them different names, because they behave differently and do different things. They are made of the same constituent things, but they're not the same. That's why they have different labels. That's why words are important, and that's why you get all bent out of shape about me pointing out all the flaws you're using in order to sit there and smuggle in terms.
Ignorant. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy can't create more three-dimensional structures of itself.
That is absolutely not the first law of thermodynamics.
You got the zeroth law, the first, second, and third.
I mean, they say that 3D printers can print themselves now, so...
Hang on, but that requires an outside cause.
I'm just teasing. You guys keep going.
You're saying that... You're saying... Correct me if I'm wrong. You said that energy doesn't convert into matter. Is that what you said earlier?
I did not say that. I said that energy and matter have the same constituent makeup, but they are different forms of the same thing. But because they have different properties, we cannot use them interchangeably. Energy and matter are very significantly different from one another.
But matter consists of energy. What is your response?
That doesn't mean you can use the terms interchangeably.
But matter consists of energy.
Okay.
Yes. So then, just to reiterate my question, do you take the position that tangible matter had a beginning?
So are we talking about all of the tangible matter, specific tangible matter? Because you keep switching context, so I want to make sure we're very clear about which one we're talking about.
Yes, the tangible universe, all of it.
Yes, there was a point where tangible matter did not exist.
Okay, so you have an immaterial antecedent cause.
I didn't say that.
That's your only alternative.
No, it's not.
You just said the tangible had a beginning.
Okay, so?
Yeah, so then prior to the existence of tangible matter was an immaterial prime mover.
No.
So just to break this down, if you claim an impersonal ultimate,
how about
created? Hang on. if you assert,
instead of asking me or telling me if something,
hang on,
ask me what I
this
assert.
is a premise. Premise. You need to let me finish. So, if you assert absolute nothingness as a label,
I don't.
Dude, you have to. Okay, if it's not random, then it's a conscious choice. Therefore, God.
That does not follow. There's
Yes,
nothing
it
to say
does.
that a consciousness is necessary. You're just asserting that as a brute fact, and I reject that.
Do you believe that all tangible energy and matter popped into existence through a miracle?
I do not.
Okay, so then it was by choice, by
That
an
is
immaterial cause.
That is the most profound example of a false dichotomy I think I've ever encountered.
No, it's not.
Absolutely,
It's a true
it is.
dichotomy. It's
No,
either,
it's not.
Hang on, it's either material or immaterial. The law of polarity, the opposite to the material, is the
And
immaterial.
how does that get you? How does that get you to consciousness?
Because omnipresent tangible energy and matter can't pop into existence because it requires an immaterial cause. The only alternative is that tangible matter popped into existence.
You're
Hang on. We've already addressed that fallacy. So, your only alternative is that tangible matter popped into existence in a finite in size form at inertia. And in order for it to get ambulation requires an outside force to go from zilch locomotion to consistent movement. So that outside force is an immaterial, omnipotent consciousness, therefore God.
Nope. So let me tell you all the things that, well, at least some of the things that are wrong with that. I don't know that we've got enough time to unpack everything that was wrong with what you just said, but you made a bunch of assertions that didn't follow from one another. Those are all non-sequiturs.
That's just an assertion. Can you elaborate on the assertions that I made?
I'm going to. If you would stop talking, I will get to it. I will tell you everything you did wrong with it.
Guys, time out. Let him finish, Philip. Just let him get his point out, and then we'll make sure you have enough time to respond to that. Go ahead.
So, among other problems, you once again completely used inertia in a form that doesn't exist. At inertia makes no sense. Inertia is the resistance to a change in momentum for mass. That's all inertia is. It's a description. No, it has nothing to do with at rest. It's a change in momentum. Secondly, you've made all these jumps from this means this means this means this, and you've not established that any of those things are true. You've just asserted them as bald facts. As the little yeah.
Let me get you to hold the second part of that off, and let me allow him to answer. Philip, you're allowed to answer that first point he made. I don't want you to give him 5-6 different points for him to respond to, and then hold it against him that he doesn't respond to one of them or two of them. So go ahead and do this point by point. Philip, you take that first point that he just made. Philip, if you need AJ to reaffirm that point so that you can understand it in its entirety, just let him know, and if he does that, AJ, you go ahead and reaffirm that, but give Philip a chance to respond.
I'll just ask him a question. So you have finite in size, tangible matter. Was it always moving, or did the movement have a beginning when it came into existence?
Philip, answer before unless that was in direct response to his the first statement he made. Try to answer the first statement first, and we'll get back to you so that you can ask your questions as well.
Yes, it was tangible matter at inertia, meaning at rest.
That's not what inertia means.
Yes, it does.
That's not what azoic means either.
Azoic means non-living matter.
No. Not azoic means dead matter that was once alive. You're trying to smuggle in all this terminology to go, you like to use the word ambulatory because that means walking instead of moving. That's something that physical animals do. You love to use all this great little words. You smuggle these terms in, hoping that nobody will notice, and then eventually you go, ta-da, life. And that's not how that works.
Non-living matter. So in order to get the movement, you require an outside force. You have azoic, tangible matter that can't move. So in order to get the movement, you require an outside force. Therefore, God.
So first of all, that doesn't at all address the problem that you had with your use of the word inertia or your understanding of the concept of inertia. But I'm willing to just let that go because clearly you don't really care about any of the physical terms.
You don't understand these terms.
Inertia is the resistance of any physical object to change in its velocity. This includes changes to the object's speed or direction of motion. An aspect of the property is a tendency of objects to keep moving in a straight line at constant speed when no forces act upon them. That is inertia. Inertia has nothing to do with something at rest. Rest and inertia are not the same thing. Of course, I'm reading it off the thing.
No, but
I can have Brainy put it up on there if you'd like. I've got it as one of my slides.
Yeah, but you have either inertia for it to change its trajectory requires an outside force. If the inertia is at rest, then you still require an outside force. So even if
inertia isn't at rest, the object is at rest.
Hang on. So even if you say that all tangible energy and matter was in a state of movement,
are we talking about energy or matter? Which one?
Matter. Hang on. If you say that all tangible matter popped into existence and is always moving, then you still require an outside force.
I didn't say that.
Hang on. Then you need for it to change its trajectory. So and then your only alternative is that the movement had a beginning. In order to get the movement still requires that outside force. This comports with the first law of motion / inertia.
So you keep telling me what my position is. Let me ask you this. What do you think my position is as far as when and where matter came from?
I'm asking you these questions, but you're playing semantics. So I'll just reiterate the question. I'll ask you the question again. Do you believe that when tangible matter came into existence, was it always moving, or did the movement have a beginning?
Matter, baryonic matter as we know it, came into existence well after the instantiation of the universe. It was energy first that then condensed into matter.
The movement to go from zilch locomotion to rectilinear ambulation. So was the movement?
There was no ambulation. It's not walking.
If it doesn't have the ability to move, then the movement had a beginning, contingent on an outside force. Therefore, God.
Well, again, you just added contingent on an outside force. That's not necessarily true. You're just once again blatantly asserting that without any evidence to support it.
So you're saying that life popped into existence. Is that what you're saying?
Did I say that?
You said the movement had a beginning.
Did I say that?
You rejected that it's not always moving.
So, Philip, have you noticed that I ask you what your position is, but you just keep telling me what my position is?
Do you believe? Hang on, do you believe? Look, you're not getting out of this. The tangible energy, tangible matter came into existence. Was that particular of tangible matter always moving, or did the movement have a beginning?
It came into existence as the condensation of energy.
Was it moving? Yes or no?
When it came into when the energy condensed into matter, the matter at its very beginning was moving, but that is not the same thing as the beginning of the universe. The energy was already imparted into the matter. That's how matter comes into existence.
You're filibustering too much. Did the movement have a beginning, or was it always moving?
I just told you.
Can you just give me a direct answer? Was it always moving, or was it just yes or no? Was it always moving? Yes or no?
We already agreed that it's not infinite in time, so it can't always be moving unless it was infinite in time.
Was it always moving? Yes or no? You're playing semantics. I know what time means, but before you go down this rabbit trail.
Well, no, because you love to sit there and take all these things and go, well, you said earlier that it always happened. Well, no, I'm clarifying what you're asking before I give you a full answer, because you love to switch context.
When tangible matter came into existence, was it always moving, or did the movement have a beginning?
You're presenting a false dichotomy.
Was energy always moving, or did the energy have a beginning?
You're presenting a false dichotomy.
Dichotomy, not icotomy. So what is
dichotomy.
The false dichotomy that I'm presenting?
You're giving me two options when there are more options available.
What are the more options then?
Repeat the question.
The true dichotomy, to elaborate on this, it's either immaterial or material. There isn't a third option. And the movement, and the movement, it's either moving or it's not moving. There isn't a third option. So to reiterate my question, hang on, before you filibuster, hang on, no, I'm going to ask you a question, because you have the mindset to straw man. When tangible energy came into existence, was it always moving, or did the movement have a beginning?
Energy doesn't move, energy propagates.
Was it omnipresent, or was it not omnipresent? Well, you said it was not omnipresent. Yes or no?
And it was ubiquitous. I don't know if I can say that it was omnipresent.
Okay, so then energy converts into matter, so you're still stuck at zero. You need an outside immaterial cause.
Well, no, you just keep asserting I need an outside immaterial cause. You've not said anything that actually tells me that that is the case.
Omnipresent means at all places. Therefore, one particular. You have one particular of omnipresent tangible energy / matter. In order for that omnipresent... hang on.
We're not talking about energy and matter the same way. So which one are we going to talk about?
Energy / matter.
No. Which one?
You have energy converting into matter.
So are we talking about energy, or are we talking about matter? They are not the same thing.
They are the same. Matter consists of energy. Energy / light has no weight.
You consist of cells. You consist of cells, so you're saying cells and people are the same thing.
Cells, tangible energy, matter. People, tangible energy and matter. So you have omnipresent, tangible energy and matter.
No, we're not talking about energy and matter in the same context. You can do this all day long.
You have an omnipresent particular. So in order to get the movement, requires an outside force. But okay, so then that particular is moving internally.
No.
So is it always moving?
You're just making all these assertions. You're just like, it's doing this.
I'm asking you a question.
When I ask you why that necessarily follows, you're just like, well,
and then you start asking other questions.
Okay, what's the question?
So you have an omnipresent particular. Was it always moving?
What is the omnipresent particular?
Energy, the tangible.
Okay, so just say energy.
Yes, tangible energy.
Okay.
So was that always moving?
Energy doesn't move, energy propagates.
Okay, so in order for it to change form, requires an outside force.
Why?
Because the movement, you go down to quantum level, down to Planck length.
What movement?
The movement rectilinear, like a straight. If you go down to Planck length,
the movement of what?
Of energy.
Energy doesn't move. Energy propagates.
Yes, but you claim omnipresent energy. Yes or no?
What does it matter?
It does matter. You have no room to move if it's omnipresent.
That doesn't follow at all.
You claim omnipresent, tangible energy. Yes or no?
I said the energy was ubiquitous. I didn't say it was omnipresent. There is a difference.
Okay, if it's ubiquitous, that implies that there's a second particular.
What does that imply?
That second particular has to be intangible.
Well, no. Why does that imply a second particular?
You said ubiquitously, meaning that there's possibly something else. That something else has to be that something else.
That has nothing to do with something else.
That something else is immaterial. You're saying that all tangible energy.
I'm saying where there wasn't energy, there was nothing.
Yeah, but the nothing is immaterial. Yes or no?
I'm fairly certain that nothing falls under the category of immaterial.
Yes, so that nothing is just a label for an immaterial particular.
No, it's a label for nothing. Nothing is a label for nothing. That's the law of identity. Are you familiar with the law of identity? Nothing is nothing.
But nothing is immaterial, yes or no?
Nothing is immaterial.
Yes, so you have gaps. So all in between the gaps of all energy is your assertion of nothing. Nothing is a label for an immaterial and omnipotent consciousness.
Nope, I did not label that at all. You're asserting a omnipotent consciousness that does not follow. You're just pulling that out of your ass.
In order to get the movement is contingent on this immaterial cause.
The movement of what?
Of all tangible energy.
Energy doesn't move, energy propagates.
It doesn't matter. You're playing semantics again. You claim you jump from omnipresent tangible energy to finite in size tangible energy. So in order to get the movement
of what?
Of all energy converting into
energy doesn't move, energy propagates.
It converts into matter.
So, what does that have to do with anything?
So in order to get tangible hydrogen, the very first protostar requires movement contingent on an immaterial particular.
So we went from energy to hydrogen. How did we get from energy to hydrogen?
The protostar consists of tangible hydrogen.
Right. The hydrogen comes before the protostar. How did we get from energy to hydrogen?
That's my question to you. How do you get that?
Hydrogen formed as the universe cooled and baryonic matter condensed from energy.
And can you say that again?
Baryonic matter condensed from energy.
Can I make a suggestion?
Hang on, wait. Okay, so was that energy finite in size, yes or no?
Why does it matter?
It does matter. Was it finite in size, yes or no?
I don't know.
Well, you were making a lot of assertions.
Wait, actually, hang on. Size is not an attribute of energy. There is no measurement of energy in any dimension. That's a total irrelevant question.
Let me interject right here. You guys, let me interject right here. Let me interject right here. Yeah, no, I'm fucking moderating, Philip. Shut the fuck up and let me interject. God damn. You don't run this shit. You don't control this shit.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you can do that all you want. It doesn't fucking bother me. You're still going to shut the fuck up. Watch. Okay? You guys are going around in circles. You guys are attacking the same point Obviously, AJ doesn't understand where you're coming from. Obviously, you're not getting it through.
I'm just asking him a question.
Hey, shut up and let me moderate. You've been asking the same fucking question for fucking 30 minutes now.
Well, then he should have no problem answering the question.
If he doesn't understand it because he doesn't understand it or because you're wording it poorly, move the fuck on. Now get to the second premise. You're done with the first one. Move to the second one.
We're past that premise, teams.
No. You continuously go around the exact same fucking point.
So
Stop going around the same fucking point. Move fucking
my question
forward.
was tangible energy finite in size, or was it omnipresent?
I don't think you realize how stupid the question you're asking is.
That's a true dichotomy.
And maybe that's why AJ's not fucking answering.
It's a true dichotomy.
No, you don't understand how fucking dumb that shit is that you're saying right now.
You're ignorant.
No, you don't understand how fucking stupid that is.
You don't understand.
Oh, I'm ignorant? You're the one that's all of a sudden the physics fucking expert, right?
Ad hominem.
Shut the fuck up.
Ad hominem. So was it finite in size or was it not finite in size?
Again, dumbass question. Move forward. We're not going to fucking brainy AJ for 1 second. Mute him. It's not AJ, it's Phillip. Okay, so we're going to mute you for a second. You're going to move the fuck on or you're going to continuously get muted. We're done talking about that topic. We're moving the fuck on. Move on.
Come on,
You
Phillip.
don't know what you're talking about to begin with.
I got to unmute. 1 second. Remove button. You can you can't unmute someone else. Well, apparently, Phillip, you got to... Well, apparently, I can't mute him in this. Is that... Like, he's got to unmute himself. I can mute him, but he's got to unmute himself. I thought I could mute people when I'm the owner of the meeting. Yeah, you're here, buddy. I can remove him.
Yeah, can you... Am I being heard?
No, you're heard now again. Dude, you can't do that. This is bullshit. You're having a conversation, not a fucking talkover. So, you got to listen.
So, was tangible... Before the formation of the three-dimensional structure... Was tangible energy finite in size, or was it omnipresent?
So I would like to point out before I answer that question, point 5 from the list of things that Phillip and I agreed to, the caveats for a moderated debate. Now, item number 5, childish infantile behavior will not be tolerated. Any attempt to engage in such behavior, including but not limited to name calling or repetitious over talking, e.g., therefore God, 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 will be considered an immediate forfeit.
No, you're not answering the question.
That is the terms that you accepted when we started this debate. So
I didn't repeat that. So you're lying.
So let's continue moving forward, guys. Let's continue moving forward. No, we're going to move forward.
Hang on, I'm asking a question.
You're going to move forward to your next point. Yes, it is. We're gonna move. You want to have that discussion with me one day? You can have that discussion with me. But at the current time, we're moving forward to your next point. Go ahead. You can make any point, but as long as you keep going back to this nonsensical is energy finite in size, that's fucking stupid as fuck. Okay,
it's not. That's just an ad hominem.
No, you don't know what an ad hominem is either. Then
you're presenting a conclusion.
That's not an ad hominem, dipshit.
You're attacking me, not the argument. You're just asserting.
No, I'm bored with you. Move forward. You continue to attack the. You continue to. No, you. Oh my God. Okay, you continue to say the same thing nonsensically, and he is confused by what you're trying to say. There is no correct answer because you're so wrong. You're not even fucking wrong. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to move forward, and you're going to continue this debate moving forward. If you continue to ask a dumb question like why is energy tangible and finite in size, which makes no fucking sense to begin with, since energy doesn't have a fucking size to begin with.
So
now move forward.
If it's not,
move forward. Move forward. You can have this discussion with me on my channel at some time in the future, but for this discussion, the entire, not just the moderators are getting tired of you doing circular arguments.
I'm on the affirmative now.
So
stop filibustering.
Audience, move forward.
Can you stop filibustering? So,
AJ, you talk. Sorry, Phillip.
Hang on.
Talk as much
is there
as
another moderator now?
Yeah, well, I'm that fucking owner of the channel, so you can shut your mouth too when I talk. But the bottom line is, listen, you just. come on, man. Like we're trying to work with you here. You gotta just calm down a bit. Everybody's gotta calm down. And not and
So
just
I'm
you know.
calm. I'm calm as anything. So,
Well, but you gotta accept it when we jump in and moderate. What's the point of being a moderator if we're just gonna let you sit here and slap tunas in each other's faces the whole time?
Yeah,
right?
but I forget there's 2 moderators in here. So you have
team's done a little bit more moderating in actual debates, and so oh fuck, are you serious? I will fucking remove you faster than you can blink. Don't
Can
be
you
doing that
stop
fucking.
talking?
Can you shut your fucking lips and be respectful to somebody who invited you on when you requested to debate somebody? So yes, go ahead, fuck. God damn it. You people wonder.
Okay, you finished? Okay, so
Again, man, learn some fucking respect.
Can you stop talking?
Here, look, I tell you what, I'll just mute you again, and you can shut the fuck up until I unmute you. Is that how you want to play this?
Let him go, Brainy.
Well, yeah,
Brainy,
but
listen,
I mean, I'm making a point to him. Unmute yourself and talk, Phillip.
Yeah, listen, unmute yourself, Phillip, but continue moving forward. Whether you want to accept it as a win because he doesn't understand what you're saying, or whether AJ wants to consider it as a win because you don't know what you're saying, that's beyond this right now. Move forward to the next point, please.
Let's just go.
As a moderator, I'm asking you.
Yeah, I'll mute.
So am I being heard?
Yes.
Okay, so look, I'll start again. So do you, in your worldview, what was the first movement? Was tangible energy always in a state of movement, or did the movement have a beginning?
Energy doesn't move, energy propagates.
So was it before the formation of tangible stars at terminus a quo, was tangible energy omnipresent, or was it not omnipresent?
So you're throwing all kinds of stuff in here. Are you said terminus a quo before the formation of tangible stars?
The earliest starting point.
So why are you even mentioning before the formation of stars? What does that have to do with the question? Why do you add all this unnecessary stuff into everything that you talk about?
And can you just answer the question? Was it omnipresent, or was it not omnipresent?
Well, I'm not going to answer the question until you clarify what it is you're talking about when you throw all these extra terms in there. So you're talking about as the universe came into its initial instantiation. What do you want to know about that?
Was it omnipresent, or was it not omnipresent?
It was ubiquitous.
That's still a possibility. You're possibly alluding to that it's being omnipresent or not omnipresent. That is a contradiction. If you say we'll go with that. So therefore, you have a second particular.
Why?
Okay, so now you know that it was omnipresent?
No, I'm saying you're moving forward, so I asked why. You just made another assertion without providing any reason for it.
Hey, so I'm going to ask Brainy Beaver, I'm going to ask you.
Hang on.
If Phillip cannot move past this, continue to mute him. If I tell you to mute him, just mute him. Phillip, you're unmuted as long as you continue.
Hang on, AJ has no. We're having a
that's fine. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. You've come to the opinion that he doesn't know what you mean. He's come to the opinion that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
He responded to my question.
Hush. We are moving fucking forward. I didn't even fucking insult you.
I'm not debating you yet.
I know. I'm moderating.
AJ responded to my question. Do you know what
moderation is? Do you understand what the words "moving forward" mean?
I'm clarifying.
Okay, mute him, Brainy. Mute him, Brainy. All right, Phillip, you get muted when you're ready to move forward. You can unmute and you can move forward to the next point. But we're not going to continue sticking on this one point that neither one of you are actually getting moving, like either one of you in any direction. You're just continuing to say the exact same things. So what I need you to do, Phillip, is get on, move forward, and we'll unmute you, and you can say any argument you want. But the moment you try to go back to this point that you have no clue what you're talking about, the moment you try to go back to that point, I'm going to interject again and tell Brainy to mute you. And when he mutes you, that will be that will be us notifying you that we're not going to continue going down this exact same boring ass argument that you are completely ignorant of. Okay? All right. Phillip, unmute yourself and continue moving. Okay, AJ, what do you have to say?
I was gonna say, if I can throw in one thing real quick, just to circle back where I had pointed out the.
Well, as being a fair moderator, I want to say we're going to continue moving forward with this point, beyond this point. So if it has something to do with this point, let's go ahead and stop it here, and let's not make anything else that he's going to feel the need to respond to. So what I would like you to do is, Phillip, I'm turning it over to you, and I would like you to move beyond this point. You can disagree about whether he understands it or he even gets it right at another point, at a later date and time. But right now, you guys are stagnating over this one thing, and I think it has to do with you not explaining it to him to a point that he can understand it, and him not responding to a point that you're willing to accept. So just move forward to the next point. Yes, we can hear you. Move forward to the next point.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Phillip. You're talking. Move to the next point.
Yeah, and all we're doing is muting you, Phillip. Stop acting so dejected every time it happens. We can hear you. Just the mute button. Can he not hear us?
Yes.
How can he not hear us? We're playing over the thing.
I can't hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
AJ, you can hear me, right, AJ?
I can hear everybody.
Okay, so if you can hear everybody, then Phillip should be able to hear everybody too. Yeah, that's just him playing games right now, guys. If AJ can hear us, then Phillip can hear us 100%.
Yeah.
Unless Phillip has done something on his end, like raged through his fucking headset across the room and it broke, and now he's putting it on and it doesn't work anymore. That's an acceptable reason for not being able to hear us. But the fact that AJ can hear us means that Phillip can hear us as well.
I just texted back to him in the chat on the side thing. He said, "Can you hear me?" And I said, "Well," I said, "Then leave and come back because it's fine over here."
I heard him for a minute and then he dropped out again.
Hear us.
Well, he can either hear us or if he can't, he still needs to try to leave and come back because all I did was hit the mute button. So like you said, either that or he must have raged and smashed his phone on the ground or something.
So while we're trying to get the audio sorted out, if I could make one point, I don't know if Brainy can pull up the PKA PNG file that's in the folder. But where Phillip was said that he did not agree to those terms, I actually have proof on the thread where he did, in fact, agree to those terms.
Well, no, okay. So honestly, right here, giving you a mid-debate thing, I want to kind of reach on a few things, AJ.
Sure.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault that things are going the way they're going. Okay, you didn't do anything wrong. However, hold on. I'll let him. I don't want to interject into this and become an actual debater. I'm trying to just moderate. I was just gonna.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going. I'll try and be a little more.
I have suggestions for both of you guys at the end of this. At the end of this, I have a suggestion for both of you guys. I've been listening intently and taking notes for both of you guys. Both of you guys could use some work. He actually has a good debate tactic, which is just completely fill up the fill you up with useless information. He's trying to give you as much useless information as he can so that you don't have a proper response for it. But the thing is that everything he's saying, a lot of the things he's saying, you don't even need to worry about fallacies or anything else. He's just completely wrong about physics.
Yeah.
He did a complete misunderstanding on his behalf, which is fine. He doesn't have to be completely understanding to use that as a debate tactic. You know what I mean? Like it's a good debate tactic to do that.
We hear you, Phillip.
Trying to get these to line up differently again. He can hear us fine.
Yeah, we hear you. Or I did. I can hear you anyway.
Hello?
We haven't done anything on our end. We're still sending all the audio, so it's either bullshit or he smashed something.
Send him a message that says AJ can hear us, so you should too.
Send him a message on Discord.
Check your audio.
And he's
what was your
there.
message that you sent him? Send him a message that says AJ can hear us. You should too. Check your own audio settings. That's all he needs to know. If AJ can hear us, Phillip can too. Unless he has us muted. He could easily, I guess he couldn't have muted AJ, but he could have muted the whole signal coming to him. My signal coming through you, Brainy, he could have muted that by just muting you, but that would have muted you to AJ, so he didn't do that either. Phillip, are you there? Can you hear us yet? No, okay. And I have notes. I've been taking notes. I'm going to give Phillip some good notes too. At the end of this, I'm going to tell him what he needs to go and research to strengthen his argument.
This is my very first debate of this nature at all, so I'm certainly not of the opinion that I'm perfect.
No,
you're
not doing bad. You're not doing bad. There's some improvements, but you're not doing bad. Neither one of you are actually. Phillip's not doing bad either because he's doing well for himself to put you into a logical corner. But the thing is, under most circumstances, he's using false dichotomies. It either must be this way or must be that way. And if you don't agree with one of those two premises, then you are conceding his point. Yeah. But the thing is that he's not providing the full picture. He's not providing all explanations that could possibly be. He's just saying it's either A or B, and you must choose between the two. Well, A and B might not be the right answers, but he's still expecting you to agree to either A or B. That's a false dichotomy.
So Phillip's got about 40 hours of debates on his channel, which, for the record, I do recommend everybody go check out Phillip's channel. He's got a lot of debates on there over this similar topic, and they're very entertaining. So and he has way the harder position.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, Phillip.
Hello.
I hear you, Phillip. Can you hear me?
I haven't done I've only got the one mute button. I can't do any other magic muting. He's unmuted.
Yeah, it's on his end. If he can't hear us, it's on his end, 100%.
I told him to check the
settings. Because AJ's
settings.
hearing us. AJ can hear us.
Are you on the PC?
He can hear us.
If you're on the PC, hit the 3 dots on bottom right and check your output.
Yeah.
And I have good notes for Phillip too.
He must have pressed a bunch of buttons.
I have positive notes.
Go ahead, sir.
I have positive notes for Phillip too, because there's some things that he's not completely bringing up that would strengthen his argument that actual science has issues explaining. And the thing is that he's so wrapped up in himself that he can't see that when I interject, I'm simply interjecting for moderation, and I'm doing it with no favoritism here whatsoever. Like, AJ, I don't think you're doing bad, but I'm trying my best not to hold any favoritism towards you or Phillip. So when I interject, that's why I told you, no, don't circle back. If I'm going to tell Phillip he needs to move on from this point, then I need to tell you that as well. And that's what I'm going to do. But, Phillip's just so wrapped up in himself that he thinks the whole world's against him, which is typical of people who hold, estranged beliefs to common man. One of the things why I call it an estranged belief is because we used to not believe that gods created volcanoes and thunderstorms and shit like this. But with science, we now understand that plate tectonics are responsible for volcanoes. So we have an understanding now. We've moved on from that estranged belief to human society. To the human understanding of how the world works and how the universe works. The same thing is true with a lot of the arguments that
I can hear you, Phillip.
Now.
Can you hear me?
We've still been able to hear you the whole time, and we can hear each other, so we're not sure what you did, Phillip, if you're listening on stream.
We hear you, buddy.
I couldn't hear half of what you were saying.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we hear you perfect.
I don't know what happened there.
Neither do we.
Hey,
maybe a glitch.
Phillip, let me make something clear. I'm not against you in this, okay? You might not have heard just now what I was telling AJ, but I'm trying to be as fair and unbiased as possible. I've been taking many notes throughout this debate because I have been listening in, and I have both positive and negative criticism for both of you guys at the end of this debate. That includes you. I have positive criticism for you. I'm going to give you something that's going to strengthen your side. You might need to do a little bit of research, a little bit of science research on it, but I'm going to give you something that's going to strengthen your side. That aside from that, I don't want you to think that I'm personally attacking you when I step in and say we need to move on from this point. It's a matter of you guys just circling back through the same point over and over, and I'm sure you have more. I'm sure, Phillip, you're more than a one-trick pony. Is that correct? You have more than just one piece of evidence?
He hasn't answered this question. Well, he was asking.
We're moving on from that question. We're moving on from that question. I'm sure you. Hold on. You have more than one question.
We were having
Right.
We were having a back and forth until you interrupted.
No, you were having a circular conversation. You guys were standing in a whirlpool and y'all were circling each other, and it was never going to get out of that whirlpool.
We were clarifying words
because every time. That's why I stepped in and said maybe it's either you're not.
Hold on. The one who probably started this audio dysfunction.
Oh yeah, it was me joined by whatever Zoom. I controlled your computer through Zoom. Yes.
It was
okay.
You got me. We use it all the time.
You fucking got me, Phillip. Okay, so now getting beyond that, here's what we're gonna say. Do you only have 1 point, or do you have more than 1 point? I'll allow you to imagine in your imaginary head. I'll let you assume that you're beating AJ right now. And AJ, in your worldview, I'll let you assume that you're beating Phillip. You guys can tell your friends and everything who's winning when it comes to that point, but we're going to move on to the second point. Phillip, you have more than 1 point to bring up for your premise, right? For your position. Do you have more than 1 point? If you do, then let's first point.
So your response was that you don't know. That was your answer to my question, correct?
Well, last I heard, we were talking about you were asserting movement of energy, and I was pointing out that energy doesn't move, energy propagates.
It is still movement.
It's not entirely the same thing.
But that wasn't the question, because I need to clarify with you is that do you believe that it was omnipresent or not omnipresent? Was it finite in size or was it not finite in size? Was it infinite in size or was it finite in size?
Size is not a property that is applicable to energy, so the question makes no sense. It's gibberish.
Well, then just say that it's omnipresent.
No, I'm not going to just say it's omnipresent just to suit your narrative. That's silly.
Phillip, do you understand English? Because I've already told you to move on from this point. No, you're saying the exact same fucking shit you said fucking 30 minutes ago. He's giving you the exact same fucking answers he gave you 30 minutes ago. No, I'm not going to continue to let you fucking take on this fucking point.
We're just clarifying terms with each other. Can you stop interrupting?
No, when you keep going back,
you said that it doesn't have a size.
Told you to move on from this point.
Hang on,
you guys, you're asking the same questions. He's giving you the same answers.
I'm asking a clarifying question.
Is your AJ? Are your answers going to change?
A clarifying question.
Unlikely.
So
his answers are going to unlikely change. So just assume when you asked it the first 10 times and he gave you those answers that those are going to be the same ones. All right. So after you ask your singular clarifying question, we are moving fucking on. Do you understand English?
Did the energy have a curvature?
Energy is dimensionless, so that's it doesn't make any sense. Can I ask a real quick question of you, Phillip?
Hang on. You can't just make an assertion and then move on to a different topic. And so curvature means, I'll break this down, it has an edge.
Energy is dimensionless, so that it doesn't make any sense to apply that term.
Are you saying that it's immaterial? That you can't see it?
I didn't say that. I said it's dimensionless.
So it has no, are you saying that it has no dimensions?
I'm saying energy is dimensionless.
So can you see energy in your worldview?
I can see the effects of energy.
Light. Energy is light. Can you see light in your worldview?
Energy isn't necessarily light. I can see light.
Yes. So extrapolate that back to the very first movement. So if you claim omnipresent energy,
I don't.
Okay, then your only alternative
unlikely
is finite in size. They're the only two options.
Okay, AJ, just ignore that. AJ, I'm going to give you a suggestion. Just ignore that and change the subject. This is
So-
how you deal with people like
No,
this.
hang on. If you don't answer this question, then you're
Phillip, be quiet. Phillip, be quiet. AJ,
I'm
just
gonna
change the
debate you
subject.
later.
This is how you
We'll set up a
get
debate.
this.
I'm gonna set up
Yeah,
a
that's
debate
fine,
with you
Phillip.
later.
No, that's fine. You can set up a debate with him, me, Brainy. It doesn't matter. But if you want to talk about energy and shit
I'll
like
set
that,
up a debate
come
with
see
you.
me. Yeah, come see me with this bullshit,
I'll
and
set up a
I'll
debate
shut
with
you the
you.
fuck up.
No,
AJ,
you won't.
ignore him for right now. Ignore him for right
You're
now,
just a
and
setup
change the
dominant.
subject. Yeah, that's
So,
fine. AJ, ignore him and change the
I'll debate
subject.
you after this. How's that? Save us time.
So are we going back towards gravity? Is that where we're headed again? Because I feel like that's the general direction.
Is gravity in your worldview material or immaterial?
Gravity is immaterial.
Okay, so you have an invisible force with an omnipotence to move tangible energy
Okay.
/ matter, therefore
Okay.
God.
Okay. Once again, your problem is you defined God as unchanging. Gravity is not unchanging. Therefore, gravity cannot be God.
But the gravity is a label for an immaterial particular outside the curvature of the tangible particular.
Philip, are you familiar
So-
with the law of excluded middle?
Yes, hang on. So you have two particulars.
Can you tell me the law of excluded middle?
It's either A or not A. Hang on. So
Okay.
let me.
So
Oh,
so is God changing or is God unchanging?
God is he's infinite in size, security, he's a deity. Therefore, he is an unmoved mover.
Is God
He
changing?
has everything
or
from the start.
you earlier described God as unchanging. Did you not? Did I make that up? It was one of the questions I asked. You gave a very clear answer. I have about 100 Bible verses that also indicate that God is unchanging.
Yeah,
Would you like-
before he created tangible energy and matter. Yes.
So God
He
is
has everything.
unchanging.
Yeah, he has everything from the start.
Okay. So if God is unchanging and gravity is changing, that means God cannot be gravity. That's the law. God cannot be changing and unchanging at the same time. That is the law of excluded middle.
No, it's not that it's changing. It's that it's moving internally, not contingent.
Gravity is changing. It changed since the inception of the universe. It used to be a unified force with all four other fundamental forces. It was a unified force. It then separated into the four fundamental forces, including gravity. Gravity changed. Gravity cannot be God. End of story.
But you said earlier that the gravity is immaterial.
So
So for an immaterial, look, we are at before the formation, before the very first movement. So just to put that out there. So you have two particulars. Particular A is the immaterial / gravity in your worldview, and the second particular is tangible energy / matter. Those two particulars are conjoined to each other with no gaps in between. Therefore, there isn't a third particular in this scenario. For the immaterial particular / gravity, for that particular to
Are you dumb?
choose
I think she's dumb.
to interact with the tangible for the movement
Are you like
requires
I'm not trying
a
to be mean.
conscious
Like, are you
choice.
dumb?
I think she's dumb.
Because the cause is happening internally from that immaterial cause. And that immaterial cause has an omnipotence to manipulate and change the trajectory of tangible energy and matter. So that was a reductio ad absurdum. So that was pointing out the fallacy in your assertion of gravity, because gravity is just a label for an immaterial and omnipotent consciousness, an immaterial, eternal, and omnipotent consciousness. What is your response to that?
My response to that is, in my
To the
worldview,
gravity. Yeah, sorry, what is your response to the gravity? being
My
a
response
label.
to that is that gravity was once unified with 3 other fundamental forces. That means that gravity has changed, and that means it is excluded from being God.
You're jumping to square 7 when you need to go back to square 1.
Doesn't matter.
Hang on. We are talking about the very first movement, the first primary cause for time to exist, for the movement of tangible energy and matter. So are you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, are you saying that the immaterial changed form into the material?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying gravity was once unified with the 3 other fundamental forces, then it changed. The fact that gravity changed makes it mutually exclusive from being God. That's the law of excluded middle. God can't be changing and not changing at the same time.
No, you contradicted
Thus,
yourself.
gravity can't be God.
They are both immaterial.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It has no matter whatsoever.
It does matter because the material is tangible energy / matter. Your only
Energy and matter aren't
alternative
the same.
Your only alternative is an immaterial particular. So that gravity, you answer this question with a yes, that the gravity is an immaterial particular. So you have an invisible force to push forward all tangible energy and matter to get the very first movement.
Okay,
That
so now you're
invisible-
describing it as a force and not as a label. So now that we've gotten to that point,
the force.
you
is
just
the
said it's a
effect.
force.
I'm elaborating on this. So the force is the effect, and the effect is the movement of energy and matter. The cause is the immaterial / God / gravity, which is a label to a God. So when I say force, I'm just explaining the effect
Okay.
of the immaterial.
So what about the other 3 fundamental forces that also would apply and have those same attributes?
Those forces would be immaterial.
So
You can't have you can't have a third particular in this scenario because
so you're saying the other fundamental forces don't exist? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That the weak
No,
nuclear force and the strong nuclear force, and that light doesn't exist? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm saying that they are all immaterial.
Okay, so what?
So that puts you back to one immaterial with many abilities. So you have, look, I just feel like I'm repeating myself. You have 2 particulars.
You don't say.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you're playing semantics, and I have to educate you with a lot of these definitions.
Oh, I know. I've listened to your education before. I've watched all your videos.
So you have, I'll take this slowly. So you have 2 particulars, the immaterial and the material. What's your response to that?
I reject the fact that you're just going to arbitrarily limit everything to these 2 categories and lump them all together and say those are the only 2 things that exist.
You don't know the law of excluded middle. It's either A or not A. It's either material or it's not immaterial.
Phillip, are you material?
Yes.
Are you material? Am I material?
Hang on. Yes.
Okay. Are we the same particular?
Yes.
No, we are not.
Yes.
No, we are absolutely not the same particular.
We are both visible.
That's not the definition of a particular.
That's the definition for material. A particular is just a label for an item. So my question to you, you have 2, well, it's not a question, it's a premise. You have
Spoiler alert, I'm going to reject it.
Hang on. You have 2 particulars, the immaterial and the material. Do you grant me that?
Are you saying in existence there are only those 2 particulars? Or are you telling me that for the sake of our discussion right now,
this
we
is
are only
your-
talking about these two particulars.
In your worldview, you have two particulars.
In my worldview, there's infinite particulars. I can point to anything and call that a particular.
No, but you only have the material and the immaterial. So you have particular A, material, and particular B is the immaterial.
Okay.
Okay, you grant me that. So you have, and those two particulars are conjoined to each other with no gaps in between. Therefore, there isn't a third particular in this scenario.
I mean, if you're framing it as we're just going to talk about things as either material or immaterial, then okay, I'll grant you that.
Yeah, so, and
but that doesn't get you to God.
Yes, it does. Hang on, it does. So you have the movements. Well, I have to ask you a clarifying question.
Oh boy.
Well, actually, yeah, I don't because you're so in order to get the movement of tangible energy
doesn't move. Energy propagates.
To get the first, it's still moving. It's for you to get the first protostar requires an outside force. That force is the effect from the immaterial. The immaterial that you asserted is gravity, but that immaterial particular is not contingent on an outside force, and it has a consciousness to choose to create time, the movement of energy and matter.
So literally none of that follows.
Yes, it does. So that immaterial particular is moving internally, not contingent on an outside particular. That's why I said earlier, there isn't a third particular. There's no word in the dictionary without using God, there's no word in the dictionary to assert a third particular.
Well, see, here you're switching again between we're talking about material and immaterial, and then we're talking about like finite objects and those specific objects, and you're saying then there's no third choice on there. Well, we're talking about third choices in the first place when we talk about a star. A star might fall in, it does fall into the category of the tangible, but it is a separate thing from the tangible. It is a tangible.
But visible, tangible just means visible.
No, not necessarily. That's one definition.
Yes, it does. It does. That's what it means. So
that's a definition for it.
Hang on.
Phillip, may I ask you a question? This is just to help both of you guys. Hey, this is I know, but let me ask you a question. You made a
you're interrupting.
Listen, you made a comment that a tangible object must be seen.
So why are you
is an electron seen?
You're trying to
distract me from this
premise.
No, I'm helping you.
You're trying to distract me from the syllogism.
Shut up, Phillip. I actually am giving you a qualifying question right here as a moderator so that AJ can properly answer you back. When you say that a tangible object is visible, you cannot see an electron. Okay, is an electron tangible? Yes or no?
But hypothetically, if you had the technology,
no. Remember, A or B. You don't get to interject. Answer C. It's
if
A
you
or
had
B.
The technology,
is an electron tangible? Yes or no?
If you had the technology, then hypothetically, yes, you can.
Electrons don't reflect light. Electrons don't reflect light. You can't see them.
But you
they interact with electromagnetic waves, but they do not reflect light. Are they tangible or not?
You can't see something.
You're referring to dark matter. That's another fantasy.
I didn't even bring up dark matter. I asked about an electron.
That's not what
I asked about an electron.
You're saying because dark matter doesn't emit light.
I didn't bring up dark matter. Why are you strawmanning me? Don't strawman me.
Dark energy and matter. I'm sticking on point.
I'm asking you to clarify, to qualify what you mean by tangible.
You're setting up a strawman argument. You're
No,
setting
you
up
do
a
not
straw
have
man
to.
argument. You're
Hold
setting
on,
up
it's
a
not a
straw man
straw man
argument.
argument,
You're
Phillip.
setting up
You
a
just
straw
said,
man
mute him,
argument.
Phillip,
mute him,
Setting up
mute
a
him.
straw
He's
man
being
argument.
childish. Mute
You're
him.
setting up a straw
Listen,
man argument.
I don't care. You can be childish all you want, Phillip, but here's the thing. You just said that being tangible, by definition, is being able to see something. You cannot see an electron. You cannot visibly see an electron. However, an electron is a tangible object. So therefore, what you just said is incorrect, completely incorrect. And what I'm trying to do is get you to change into a correct form so that AJ can properly answer your question back. Being able to see something does not make it tangible. Now you may speak.
Phillip, all you have to do is hit. Yep.
Okay,
Perfect.
are you interrupting now? So you have
I'm being childish.
immaterial.
Like,
Hang
fucking
on,
really?
hang on. So
Fucking, where'd you
I have to
find
ask
this
you a
guy?
clarifying
AJ
question.
found
Toys R
him.
Us
Hang on.
reject.
You have the immaterial. You have is the immaterial in your worldview the gravity in this scenario? That's to AJ.
Gravity would be described as immaterial, yes.
Okay, and is that immaterial moving internally? Yes or no?
It doesn't move.
But it was moving to get. It has to move. The effect is the movement of energy and matter. So
That's
that
the effect,
immaterial.
but you're asking about gravity moving. Gravity doesn't move.
Okay, so it has an omnipotence to interact with energy and matter.
Where did omnipotence come from?
You're saying that the gravity is not.
I'm not
moving.
saying.
Hang on. You're alluding to that.
I'm not alluding to anything.
Hang on.
Don't tell me what my position is.
Hang on, let
Don't
me
tell
finish.
me what
Okay.
my position is.
Well, let's let in
Alluding
the
means
sake of
you're
keeping us moving. Let's let him at
possibly-
least make his sentence, at least, I guess, and then.
Okay.
So you're alluding that you're possibly saying that there was a gap in between the immaterial particular and the movement of energy and matter. If your belief of gravity is not conjoined to the tangible, well, then the burden of proof is on you to demonstrate a third particular, which you can't. So then your only alternative is that the immaterial particular being omnipotent to push energy and matter. So that is a God with a consciousness. When you have a particular moving internally, that particular consists of life. We can demonstrate this today by moving our arms. We have life because the movement is happening internally. Extrapolate that back to the immaterial particular. That immaterial particular has life with an omnipotence, therefore God.
Except, again, none of that follows.
You're making an assertion. See, I said you made an assertion again.
Brainy, can you play the clip again?
A straw man argument. Can you see? You have no rebuttal. If you don't have a rebuttal, then you forfeit.
Straw man. What straw man argument did I just present?
Why are you bringing in different clips?
What straw man did I present?
Because it's your own words. If you can't say something like that and expect him not to clip you saying it, you make the statement that without anything without evidence, any claim without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So you can't say that in one day and then turn around.
I gave you empirical evidence. The movement of us is happening internally. You can't deny existence. There's no argument for that because your existence is the tangible. So you have humans are moving internally.
Internal to what?
That back, internally. From the brain, the receptors from your brain.
So is a lump of lead.
So the signaling is happening from your brain inside of your body.
Yeah, everything's moving internally.
Yeah, but everything's exactly.
Yeah, but the movements but we are not contingent on an outside force. We are moving internally. It does matter.
So is everything. Everything is moving internally.
No, but if you go back to the very first movement of tangible energy and matter is contingent.
Energy or matter, which one?
Hang on. The tangible is contingent on an immaterial force. That immaterial force is moving internally, therefore it is an unmoved mover.
Forces don't move.
But the force is just the effect.
Forces don't move. You just said the force moved.
The
Forces don't move.
No, I said the movement of energy and matter.
You said the movement of the force. That is the words that you used. Forces don't move.
The energy, the tangible, is moving contingent on the immaterial. You asserted gravity. Gravity is just a label for an immaterial, ambulated, and omnipresent.
It's not ambulated. It is not ambulated.
It is moving. It has the ability to move.
That's not what ambulate means.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Ambulate means the ability to move. Yes, it does.
Ambulate means to get up and walk around. You're trying
to get up and move.
No, you're trying
to get up and move.
Yeah, stop repeating.
So you have a moving particular. You have a moving particular that is not contingent on a third particular. So that puts God to being an unmoved mover and eternal with an omnipotence to interact with the tangible. So just to summarize all of that, your belief of gravity is a label for an immaterial.
Don't tell me what my belief of gravity is. Don't tell me what my belief of gravity is. No. You are not going to tell me what my belief is, and we will continue.
Okay, you're good.
Why are you being a child?
Yeah, are you a fucking? Let me take already.
Over.
I already muted him
over
before you said anything. Like,
Phillip, why are you being a child?
God damn.
Yeah, Phillip, why are you acting like a child right now?
Immaterial.
First off, let me explain what ambulation means. No, shut up. You misunderstand ambulation. Ambulation is the ability to walk. Hey, hold on, Brainy. Ambulation, by definition, is the ability to walk without the need for any kind of assistance. It is most often used when describing the goals of a patient after a surgery or physical therapy. In order to reach a patient's goal of ambulation, they may require assistance before they are able to walk around on their own. So there is preambulation and ambulation. Preambulation is when you can move without walking. So ambulation is the ability to walk. AJ was right about that. You were wrong. Continue. Mr. Wrong Guy.
I was not wrong. The walking is just a label for movement. So you're ignorant as usual, team. So to go back to
I guess the Oxford Dictionary, is ignorant. That's where I just pulled that information from.
Hang on. So you have the immaterial particular is the gravity. You said yes to that. So that gravity is not contingent on an outside force for its effect to take place.
Gravity is the outside force.
Yeah, so the gravity is the immaterial, and for it to move and to interact with the tangible requires a conscious choice, because the movement, the choice is happening internally. So
well, no, you haven't established that a choice is necessary.
I'm going to break this
You're just asserting that. You're just asserting that.
No, I'm not. I'm going to give you an
Children,
analogy.
go to school. You won't be like Phillip.
I'm going to give you an analogy so you could visualize it. You have a line of dominoes standing up. The very first domino either tipped over on its own, or it tipped over contingent on an outside force. If it tipped over on its own, then that domino consists of life, because it chose to. Yes, it does, because it chose to fall down on its own. So the movement, the choice was happening internally, so that the domino is a label for a consciousness. Your only alternative is the outside force. That outside force chose to knock down the first domino. So that outside force has a consciousness and an omnipotence to interact with tangible.
So you're telling me if a domino falls on its own, that it is alive. is what you're asserting.
That's just an analogy in reference to.
It's a bad analogy.
No, it's not a bad analogy.
Well, the analogy doesn't hold if a domino falls over by itself and it's not alive. Then if that doesn't hold, the analogy isn't true.
It's just an analogy so that you could visualize it. Right. So you have.
But I'm telling you that your analogy doesn't hold up.
It does hold up.
According to the premise you're trying to present.
You're just making an assertion. You have no arguments. So you're just filibustering, playing semantics, lying, and just playing ignorance. You're arguing from ignorance.
Speaking of ignorance, if that domino falls on its own, is it ambulating?
Hang on. So
no, answer that question. Answer that question.
Hang on. I'm not. We'll debate later.
Can we not answer one question? Just say it.
Hang on. All I'm hearing is other voices. So can you just stop? If I'm not hearing
asking
AJ,
as a moderator. I'm asking as a moderator about your definition of ambulation and ambulating. Okay, if a domino falls on its own from a gust of wind, is okay. So if a domino falls on its own due to a gust of wind,
you've lost this debate, AJ.
Shut up and listen.
You've lost this debate. I'm just having fun now. So.
The audience doesn't necessarily.
Your idea of having fun is acting like a retard.
You
should definitely look at different things in life.
Ad hominem.
As soon as you start doing
ad
that,
hominem is.
I don't.
Let me explain to him what an ad hom is.
I have a 7-year-old.
Let me explain to him what an ad hom is. An ad hom is when you ask a question. Shut up.
You don't know what an ad hominem means.
Mute him for a second. What an ad hom is when you replace the answer to a question or an argument with an insult. Like if you say, "Is gravity tangible?" and I say, "You're an idiot." That's not an answer to your question. That's an ad hom attack on you. What I'm doing is not ad homing you. What I'm doing is giving you qualifying questions to statements you've already made. Number one, you got ambulation wrong. You don't know what it means to ambulate, okay? You just don't. It's okay. Philip, you can be wrong and life will still be okay. All you have to do is go back and read the definition and it'll strengthen your argument in the future. That's why I asked you, if a domino falls due to a gust of wind, is the domino ambulating or not? If the domino is ambulating, then you don't understand what ambulating is. If it is not ambulating, then you need to go back and ask yourself, why is it not ambulating? And what is the difference between the domino falling on its own and a person making the choice to walk forward with their two legs? Because these are medical definitions that are
blah 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 blah.
Stop acting like a child.
Blah blah. So I was
stop being a child.
To prevent slander to prevent you slandering me, I was just going blah blah blah.
You don't know what slander
is. You don't know what slandering is.
You don't know what slander means either.
Blah 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 blah. Stop muting me. I'm going to debate you later.
You need to stop acting like a fucking 3-year-old. I have children that act better than you.
Can you stop?
Listen, let's get back to the debate tonight. You're not debating me, so we'll get back. We'll let you and AJ get back
so you
to it.
Forfeit. Okay. Well, I've got that on record that you rejected my invitation to debate.
You said right
so
now.
How dumb are you? How much lead? Hold on. How much lead paint? Hey, how much lead paint did you eat today? Just out of curiosity, because I said, did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? Shut up. Did you hear what I just said? Mute him. Okay, so here's the thing. I told you, I said, I am not the one debating you right now, so I am going to step out. I just asked you I was asking you qualifying questions about your definition of ambulation and to ambulate. That's all I was interjecting for. You don't know what you're talking about. It's quite obvious. I didn't turn down a debate from you. I said, I'm going to step out now because this debate is between you and AJ. What part of that English sentence did you not understand?
This is where this is how conversation works. Now it's your turn to talk, Philip.
And try not to talk like a fucking 2-year-old child.
Yeah, team doesn't know what ambulation means. So just to address AJ, you have an immaterial ambulated particular that chose to interact with matter. You've lost this debate, so you have no rebuttal. That's why you're getting the moderators jumping in. You're getting different clips from previous videos, and you're asserting ad hominems which is a fallacy. You have
Phillip,
no rebuttal.
Phillip, he
for an
read it
argument.
out of the
You've got-
dictionary, out of the like. How is he wrong? And
Yeah,
you won't
that's
answer
the
his question.
Oxford-
Phillip, answer one fucking question. Did the falling domino ambulate? If you can't answer that question, yes or no, then I think we know who has lost, because you won't even answer anything.
I will answer that. The movement of that domino is ambulated. Ambulation
Oh
means
my God.
movement.
Then you don't know what ambulate.
Walking without
means.
assistance.
It's
It means
called
walking without
walking. To
assistance.
walk about is literally in the fucking definition. So did that domino walk about, Phillip? I mean, come on, this is what we're trying to say, Phillip. It did not walk about. It didn't walk about.
Hang on, it has the ability to move.
That's not the definition.
Hang on.
That would be the definition of locomotion, for instance.
Exactly.
That's not the fucking definition of ambulate. It's to walk about. You're talking about locomotion.
No. But you're asserting the problem here is that goes down the path of pantheism. Is that the ability to move has always been there, but in order to change shape or to change the trajectory of something else requires a consciousness. So the ability to move has always been there, which comports with the definition of ambulation. But for the material, because pantheism is easily debunked with the laws of thermodynamics and laws of logic. So your only alternative is the immaterial being the ambulated particular. So for an invisible particular to be ambulated is life with an omnipotence to have the ability to interact with all tangible energy and matter today, which is said to be 10 to the power of 50 in tons in weight. So
not in weight.
That immaterial particular is just a label for a god. And your belief of gravity is a label for an immaterial particular, and that immaterial particular is a label to a god.
Except for that label that we use is applied to something that is changing, and the fact that it's changing precludes it from being the God that you were attempting to prove. You are trying to prove an unchanging God.
Yeah, I take the position that tangible energy and matter had a beginning.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does matter. It does matter because if you assert that you have an immaterial particular and a tangible particular, both eternal of each other, then that is a contradiction because you have A is B at the same time A isn't B.
And that's the exact same reason why you can't use gravity as your excuse for God.
And then using the law of identity, because A is B.
That's not the law of identity.
A is A, but in conjunction with the law of non-contradiction, you need to stop interrupting. So you have cuspidated, meaning finite in size, tangible energy. So therefore, that puts the immaterial in this false worldview of yours to be finite in size as well. So that God you asserted is a false God because that false God is contingent on a third particular.
Well, the God you're asserting is contingent on my worldview, so that God is therefore contingent on me. So you've proven a God that I can boss around. Nicely done.
No, but so you have a third. You need a God who is omnipresent / infinite in size.
Okay.
You can't have because a finite in size particular is contingent on an infinite in size particular.
Do you need a God that's unchanging?
No, you need a God who is immaterial from the start.
Because you defined your God as unchanging, did you not? That was one of the things I asked at the beginning of the debate. You said your God is unchanging.
No, I take the position that tangible energy matter came into existence. That it had a beginning, ex nihilo.
The Bible says your God is unchanging.
No, but in context of the origin, in context of Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He created tangible matter. And so this puts you to the Bible as a starting point in any theological discussion, because only the Bible gets it right in the very first sentence. And then not only that, if you reject that,
well, that's begging the question, but okay.
There's no other scripture in the world that specifically states in the very first sentence that the tangible universe had a beginning.
Well,
so
I don't remember seeing the word tangible anywhere in Genesis.
I'm just elaborating. So,
well, no, you're changing God's immutable words.
No,
is what
I'm
you're
not.
trying to do.
I'm not. No, I'm not. So, and then, so my question to you, in your worldview, is God good by default, or is he evil? There isn't a third option.
Well, you just circled back on my question of, is God unchanging?
God chose to create the universe.
God is changing or unchanging?
No, he's not changing. He created it outside of himself.
So unchanging God precludes gravity because gravity changed.
Oh, hang on. I know where the disconnect is here.
Yeah, it's the fact that your definition for God is logically incoherent.
Hang on. I know where the disconnect is.
Your definition.
God, and this comports with the Bible. In Genesis, is that the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. So therefore, God created the universe outside of himself. He didn't change form.
I didn't say he changed form. I said gravity changed form. Therefore, gravity can't be God.
No, hang on. That's an assertion. I've already addressed the fallacy of gravity. So God created.
So you're saying that a fallacy is God. That's what you're saying now. You're saying this fallacy that we just talked about is God.
I used a reductio ad absurdum to point out the fallacy. You're not going to make me repeat that again. So you have God, the God of the Bible, created the universe outside of himself. So he's not contingent. He is not contingent on the law of non-contradiction and the law of identity. So this puts God, the God of the Bible, to be the perfect starting point in any theological discussion. So my question...
So if God is not subject to the law of identity, then you've made an unprovable God. So you can't prove God. All you can do is
I said this to you earlier. I said that we can prove that God created the universe and that he is the primary mover.
No, we can't.
No,
because that's begging the question.
Hang on, it's not begging the question. You're just throwing random.
You're assuming that God exists and that he created the universe. You can't prove God by saying God created the universe.
If you don't have an argument, you have to let me finish instead of critiquing on what you believe are fallacies, which they are not. So you have, so just to summarize, the God of the Bible is outside the laws of logic because he created a universe outside of himself. So that debunks all other religions who hold to eternal matter, eternal tangible matter.
So to be clear, you're claiming that God is changing and God is unchanging, and that's okay because God is subject to the laws of logic.
You're not listening. I said
is God changing or not? Is God changing or not?
I said God created the universe outside of himself. You need to define what changing means from your perspective. But what in context to cosmogony, God didn't change himself to a universe.
That's why God can't be gravity.
No, that's not my position. You're not listening. I said that I said that the God of the Bible created the universe outside of himself.
Okay.
This supports with the Bible, with Genesis.
Super question begging.
No, it's not. And it makes God outside the laws of logic. So this puts you to Genesis, and then because God is independent from the start, he is good by default because he has no one to be evil towards. So because God is good by default, it would be good for him to send down evidence, that being Lord Jesus, for us to follow. So deism is a contradiction because that implies an evil God. We don't experience evil at the level of a God today. So therefore, using the law of excluded middle in conjunction with the law of polarity, this puts God. Yes, there is. This puts God to being good by default.
Brainy, can we get slide 3 up?
So, hang on. Why are you bringing in slides? And hang on. So, just to summarize that.
Well, no, because you're going to ask me to show you that the law of polarity doesn't exist because I've seen you do this to everybody else before. So I'm going to pull up a slide where we did a search on the law of polarity, and there's bubkus. So if you want to assert the law of polarity, you need to provide a citation.
There is an opposite. Do you believe in opposites? Yes or no?
I believe that opposites are a thing. I don't believe in any law that says everything has to have an opposite, which is what you tried to assert.
You need to use critical thinking. And so you have, you have God good by default.
I'm getting your thing out.
And this comports with John 3:16. You need to scroll down rather than looking up the first result. You need to scroll down.
Okay, then find the one for me. Show me which one I'm supposed to have.
It doesn't matter. I could just use the law of excluded middle.
Then why are you invoking the law of polarity?
Okay, it doesn't matter. That's a red herring fallacy. What you're doing.
Well, no,
so you're
making stuff up and using that as evidence.
I'm not making stuff up. You're triggered because you have no rebuttal. You just have to listen to what I'm telling you, and that's what's upsetting you.
But
so I don't have to do anything.
Hang on. So you have God good by default. And because God is good by default, this comports of John 3:16 in the Bible, that God so loved the world that he sent down his one and only son for those who believed in him.
I thought you were going to say
he sent down
a virus.
So this puts
we don't talk
back
about
to
that,
the God of the Bible. So
I'm a little scared of the virus conversations.
You've lost.
But there is problems like your definitions being wrong and then like being provably wrong.
What definition? What word? Hang on, instead of filibustering, what definition?
Well, you're asserting the law.
You're making an assertion.
Ambulate, first of all.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I could just use the law of excluded middle, that it's either A or not A.
Then why did you invoke a law that you made up?
It doesn't matter.
Why did you invoke a law that you made up? You made up a law and tried to invoke
You agreed earlier that everything in the universe has an opposite.
I did not agree to that. I said the opposites exist. I did not say that everything in the universe has an opposite.
The opposite to the tangible is the intangible.
Philip, I have a question from a viewer. Do you want to hear a question from a viewer? He says, ask PKA, if God is good by default, then why do kids get brain cancer? Which is a bit of a wild question.
Hang on. No, because the cancer is due to mutation, genetic entropy. So that's a result from Adam and Eve. So God is not directly God is not giving he's not inserting cancer to children. It's a result from somebody else.
I thought God had a plan for all of us. I thought every one of us was made as part of his plan, though, and that he chooses and designs every one of us individually.
The problem is he is hand-waving what evil means. If you have an evil God, then there wouldn't be any harmony as what we experience today. There would be torment from the very start. So we don't experience torment at the level of a God. So the only alternative is that God is good by default.
Oh man, if anything, you're entertaining, Philip. Like you come up with some wild ass fucking reaches, but yeah.
That's the whole argument of like let's put it this way. There's no evidence that he wait, hold on. That's the whole there's no evidence that he did do it. I do want to point out the
irony.
But there's evidence. I want
to point out the irony that the law of polarity being imaginative, it's purely imagination at this point, is necessary to give evidence for an imaginary being. So you are consistent with that in both your evidence and your premise.
You can't debate. You're just making an assertion. I could just use the law of excluded middle.
Then why didn't you? Why did you make up a law?
Look, come on, you're not fooling me. So what is your...
Well, you're not fooling us. That's what happened.
Hold on. 90% of your law of exclusion, I believe is what you call it. 90% of that is a false dichotomy. You're saying that the only two premises are A and B because you say the only two options are A and B and they must make a choice. Well, I could do the same thing to you too and put you into a position. Whatever. Then B. Okay. Then B equals not A. How about that, jackass? Do you not understand logic at all? Okay. Do you not understand that I can assign a variable? Do you not understand that I could say that not A equals B?
You're interrupting.
Right. Dude, you interrupted us half the time we ever try to talk. I mean, come on, man.
Sometimes it feels like I'm debating 3 people at once.
If I can jump in for 1 second.
We've talked every blue moon. You guys have been going at it nonstop. I mean, come on, man. We've listened to you for like 10 minutes straight at times. Like,
what's going on? What Phillip does sometimes, and I don't think he does it intentionally. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that it's an accident. But what he does is he conflates the negation of and the opposite of. And to clarify on the difference of that, it's the difference between up and not up, and up and down. Because if I say up and down is a true dichotomy, that's not true because left and right are also a possibility. But up and not up is a true dichotomy. But Phillip likes to throw in this opposite thing and act like it is a true dichotomy when oftentimes it isn't. Like I said, I'm not saying he's doing it on purpose, that it's an intentional thing, but he does it a lot.
Well, either way, I think that... Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Phil. You know, Phillip, I'm running the show here. You can't be sighing like that every time because you're just never going to fucking come back, man. Stop acting like a child.
Do you have more questions from the audience?
Sure. If God is good, why is there racism, war, and murder, etc.?
Oh, that's similar to the question earlier. Is that?
But which parts of the Bible do we take word for word, Phillip, and which parts do we take as just being metaphors and wishful thinking? Because the problem is that in one part of the Bible it says one thing. It says God makes us all, He loves us all individually, and all that shit. And then you're telling me that God set everything in motion, and we just kind of happen to fucking fly through the ether, hitting particles as we go, and that's that. But that's not what your Bible states. So this is an issue. You want to talk on facts? We're talking on facts. So
the very first sentence, word for word, is what points to metaphysics and physics.
Points to points to. So what is it? Wait, that's not word for word. You just abbreviated a word for word. Why don't you give me the word for word if it means all that then, and we can all talk about it.
Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Congratulations.
That's the very first sentence.
A book said a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Great. A book said words. Now continue forward on how that. That book also goes on to talk about how He crafts each person individually with love. So you tell me how He didn't set the cancer in the person, but He designed them to have that genetic mutation.
We are on the topic of theology. We have moved from...
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. These are questions that you asked for the audience question. I gave one, so...
I have questions for both people, okay? I have questions for both people, and that I'm not going to make it, one-sided and try to attack Phillip here because that's not my intention,
no,
okay?
That's fair.
Phillip, at the beginning of the debate, you said you were making reference to things being finite in size and referencing that as a proof of God. Is that correct? So I steel man you here. I'm trying not to straw man you here. So is that correct?
No, I said a finite in size particular is contingent on an omnipresent particular.
Okay. So the universe in itself has never been proven to be finite in size. So does God exist within
Yes,
the
it
universe
can.
or external to the universe? No, the universe has never been proved to be finite in size.
Yes, you've got the zeroth law of thermodynamics.
What is the
And
zeroth law
Hubble's
for
law,
thermodynamics? I want to know from your perspective
right.
what the zeroth law of thermodynamics is, because it says nothing about the size of the universe.
Not to mention the
please
universe is
explain that to me.
expanding
No,
currently.
Hold on, Brainy.
no,
Hold on,
it
hold on,
points out-
Brainy. Hold on,
hang
Brainy.
on,
Hold
hang
on.
on.
Can you please answer that, Philip? You just brought up the
Yes,
zeroth law.
I will
What does it
answer
mean?
that. So the zeroth law is in conjunction with thermal equilibrium.
Mhm.
So if the zeroth law points out the fallacy in an eternal cosmos.
State the
that-
zeroth
What?
law. State
What
the
is the
zeroth
zeroth
law.
law?
Yes, because the
What is the zeroth
because
law?
hang on, because there are over septillion
No,
stars.
what
tangible
is the
stars.
zeroth law?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me take over for a
Hang
second.
on,
Philip,
I'll
I'm not
answer the
trying to.
question.
No, you're answering a different question that was never asked. What
You're
is
asking
the
me.
zeroth law?
I've got two people talking at once.
Yeah.
Just
I'm gonna
one at a
ask that
time.
everybody else. I'm gonna ask that everybody else be quiet
You're
while
the
I get
one
through these questions.
interrupting.
No, I'm trying to ask you a question that you're choosing not to answer. What is the zeroth
I'm
law?
answering it, but then I had AJ asking a clarifying
Okay,
question.
AJ,
So
can I
I'll
ask
start
you to be
from the
quiet for one
start.
moment, AJ? Not trying to be rude, but can I ask you to be quiet for one moment? Go ahead, Philip.
So the zeroth law states that due to thermal equilibrium, two opposing temperatures will come to an equal state of temperature.
No.
So yes, it does. You have hot and cold. Yes, it
No.
does. You have
No, it
hot and
does not.
cold.
No,
Yes,
the
it
zeroth
does.
law says that if system A is in thermal equilibrium
I'm
with
just
system
phrasing it
B,
differently. You're
then
reading
system
off
and
Google.
system B.
You're
No, I'm
reading
not
word
fucking
off
reading off of Google. Hey,
That's-
you know
you're
what? I
reading
don't
off
have
Google.
fucking
Just
Google in
because I
front of me
didn't get it
because
word for
I
word, that
don't
doesn't mean
need.
it's
No.
incorrect. You're reading off Google.
What you
I'm just
said
phrasing it
was
differently.
incorrect.
I'm
What
phrasing
you
it
said was
differently.
incorrect. No,
I'm
but the
phrasing
way
it
you phrased
differently.
it was
I'm
incorrect.
phrasing it
Listen to what
differently.
I'm saying.
You're reading off
A state.
Google.
I'm not reading off of Google. I don't need. That's the difference between me and you. I don't need to do that.
Tautology.
Yeah,
You can phrase it the same
dude,
way.
are
and
you
it
going
comes to
to
the
let
same
someone else other
conclusion.
than yourself talk, or do we have to
You
mute
don't
you
know what
again?
tautology means. So can you stop interrupting?
Don't
So you
know
Come on,
what the
man.
zeroth law is, and
Come
it
on,
has
man.
nothing to
We're not
do with the
arguing.
size of the universe. If
not
system A is in thermal equilibrium with system B, and system B is in thermal equilibrium with system C, then by definition, system A is in thermal equilibrium with system C. That's all the zeroth law. In fact, the zeroth law almost never gets applied. It's simply stating a
Transitive property.
yeah, it's simply stating what should be known an axiom of thermodynamics. Okay, if A is in equilibrium with B and B is in equilibrium with C, then A is in equilibrium with C. That has nothing to do with the size of the universe being finite or infinite. So I go back to my question, and I'll go back to my statement, and I'll give you a chance to answer. The universe has never been proven to be finite in size. Does your God exist within this universe or external to this universe?
Yes, hang on. I was explaining. Before you get too excited, I was explaining the first law. Okay, so
I asked about the first law.
and then I hang on. Can you stop interrupting? So you have. I was pointing out fallacy in an eternal cosmos in conjunction with the zeroth law of thermodynamics. Somebody asked to elaborate on the zeroth law, which I did. So now to point out the fallacy, hang on. So in order to, why an eternal cosmos is a fallacy? Because there are over septillion tangible stars. So if the cosmos is asserted to be eternal, then the temperature of the cosmos would either be torrid, hot, or freezing cold, because you have two opposing systems, the hot and the cold. So that the so
Well,
that
no,
puts
there's no such thing as hot and cold. There's only heat and lack of heat. That's how heat works.
But that's just that's just semantics you're playing. So so now
it's actually the way energy works, though, because you don't have cold move towards hot. You have hot move towards cold because it's a lack of energy.
That's the second law of thermodynamics, entropy. That subatomic particles are moving away from each other, going from hot to cold, because you don't have the friction to get from those subatomic particles. So the zeroth law is in conjunction with a closed system. So that debunks an eternal closed system. And the second law of, yes, it does. And the second law of thermodynamics debunks an open system, because if everything's moving away from each other, well, then a consciousness is required to put that particular there to begin with. If everything, and then you have to assert gravity to reverse entropy in this scenario, but the gravity is just a label to an immaterial God, which I've already.
Your lack of understanding of thermodynamics is not proof that God exists.
Ad hominem.
I'm not attacking. I'm saying your lack of understanding. Your lack of understanding of the laws of thermodynamics is not proof that God exists.
You're asserting a conclusion without a premise.
I'm basing a conclusion based on the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Nothing to me. Okay, so
your words
mean nothing to me. Your stupidity is absolutely entertaining.
So just as you may have other questions. So
yeah, I do. Okay, you asked about the beginning of tangible matter. This is what we know in science as the recombination event or era.
Not from you. Are they questions?
Yeah. The questions from the audience will come after the moderator breaks this debate down, and then the questions can be asked. I'm going to give you both some positives from what I've learned from this debate, and I'm going to give you both some negatives. So I'm asking you questions that you brought up during the debate that maybe AJ didn't have an understanding of what you were saying or even know how to properly answer.
Is this a question from the audience or from
Yes,
you?
I'm the audience. Guess what? I'm the audience. I'm also in the chat, so it's coming from me.
He is in the chat.
You asked about the beginning of tangible. Just do not be scared to answer a question from someone who knows what the fuck he's talking about. Okay,
you don't know what we're talking about.
Then Phillip, then listen and let him say something, and then answer the question and prove it.
Tangible matter.
Easy.
This is what we understand as the recombination era. Okay, that was when tangible matter came into existence. That's just a statement that you asked earlier. You said, when did tangible matter come into existence? Well, it came into existence during the recombination era. The beginning was not a miracle. We may not know the exact cause of the beginning of the universe, but nothing suggests a conscious or outside creator is necessary. This is true. Because you say so, that's it.
Because
where's your evidence? Where's your evidence?
I'm the first law of motion. Let me finish.
The first law of motion means nothing. The first law of motion means nothing in this argument.
You know, I'm refuting
everything is in motion. Everything is in motion.
Hang on.
First law of motion means shit to me.
Hang on. Even if you make the hyperbolic assertion that all tangible energy and matter popped into existence by a miracle.
There's no such thing as tangible energy.
Hang on.
You cannot put energy in your hand.
Hang on. I'm going to start again because you know this is destroying your premise. So
I'm pointing out how stupid you are in real time.
I'm not even
in
finished.
4K.
I'm not even finished.
You don't need to finish. You're already wrong. Go ahead.
Even if you make the hyperbolic assertion that all tangible energy and matter popped into existence randomly, that particular of tangible energy and matter still requires an outside force to get the movement. So
yeah, the outside force is called the Big Bang, the rapid expansion of space-time. That is the initial force that got everything into motion. Everything that we have right now is in motion. Every portion, every piece of matter, everything is in motion. If it's not, prove me wrong.
The space-time is just a label to the immaterial.
You can deny it all you want, but we have experiments that prove. No, we have experiments that show that space-time is an actual fucking tangible field, a tangible construct.
Yeah, we can prove the immaterial. We can prove God. Space-time is just a label to a God.
And yet we have not. And yet nobody has ever in the history of man ever proven God except for with ignorance. And I'm sorry, but to an intelligent person, ignorance is not going to be a sufficient amount of evidence to prove your assertion. I'm sorry that you don't see that. You can't prove him. Prove him wrong. If you cannot assert with evidence, I can dismiss without evidence. Correct? Didn't you not say this on your own? Did you not say that? The first law of motion is not evidence.
the movement is empirical evidence.
You are asserting that God put everything in motion. That is not. You have no proof that God put everything in motion. Now, I already know where you're going with this because you already said the same shit to AJ. So I'm going to. You are making an assertion. You're making an assertion that God put everything into motion. Prove it.
I've debated AJ and you team in this.
No, prove it.
This hangouts or this meeting. So you've lost this debate.
Prove that God put everything in motion. Prove that God put everything in motion. Look, you can. What was the term you used earlier? Filibuster. Oh, you're filibustering. You can deny it. You can talk all you want, but the truth of the matter is the people that are watching this are intelligent enough to realize why you are doing that. You're doing it because you have no fucking answer to it. No, you're doing it because you have no answer to it. You made an assertion that everything is in motion because of some conscious creator that put it all in motion because of the first law of motion. You don't know what you're fucking talking about.
You asked.
All right. An object in motion is essentially at rest within its reference frame. This is actually pro Phillip here because Phillip was talking about objects being in rest. AJ, you failed to bring up that even that the object in rest is still an object in motion through space-time, and an object at rest or an object in motion in constant motion will appear to be at rest within its reference frame. Point goes to Phillip on that. Phillip, be quiet. I gave you a victory there. Be quiet. Hey, I gave you a point there.
That one.
Yeah, I gave you a point there. Just accept the small W and let's move on.
What's your question?
I'm pointing out that you were right in one of the things that you said. There is no question at that. I didn't end it with a fucking question mark or any kind of tonal inflection that would require a response. I simply said you were right there and that AJ missed that. An object in constant motion is essentially at rest within its reference frame. Okay?
Look,
Point goes to you. Second thing, when tangible matter came into existence, it was already moving. This is one thing. When tangible matter came into existence, it was already moving. There was no need for God to cause it to move.
Trajectory. Hang on, I could refute that. Is that with the first law of motion again? Is for it to change its trajectory requires an outside force. If something is
like gravity or additional energy being put into the system.
To God, I've already explained this to you. Look, we've got to wrap it up. Many more questions from the audience?
All right. Prior to plate tectonics, there was a belief that God was responsible for volcanoes. However, since then, we have come to understand earth science is enough to the point that we can establish a cause without the need for a God. You are essentially holding the same position as antiquated man. Okay, you need to understand that. This comes from the chat. Walking is a kind of movement, but it is not equal to movement is a kind of walking. Again, ambulation, you don't understand the terms that you're using. Phillip, my suggestion to you is to strengthen your arguments by trying to give evidence of God by asking certain questions.
The ability to move has always been there. God has everything from the start.
That is not what ambulation means, though. That's not what ambulation means. If that's what okay, so do we need to write like WebMD and all the medical institutions around the world and ensure that they get the right definition of ambulatory or ambulate because you define it as such?
You don't know what it means. Don't. Can you stop?
Of course I don't, but Oxford Dictionary does. Yes? Yes or no? Does Oxford Dictionary, is that a good enough source for you? All right.
Ambulation. Yeah. I'm going to break this down.
Define it for me, please. Redefine ambulation, please. Ambulation so we can all have a laugh.
Ambulation just means the movement of a particular. Next question from the audience.
No, it doesn't. You can't redefine shit. You are redefining shit. All right, AJ, here's what my suggestions are for you. Yes, the questions I'm giving, while I give my synopsis of this, while I give my opinion on this debate, the audience is putting together their questions as we speak, okay? I'm giving my opinion. We'll turn it over to the questions in the audience first in a second. AJ, I'm not, shut up. Don't be telling don't bitch out because you know what? Do you not remember just a minute ago saying after this we can go have a debate on my channel? Now all of a sudden you need to fucking you haven't debated me. No, I allowed you to say all that shit to AJ without interrupting.
No, you said that what I was saying was correct. So
No, because what you're saying is not correct. By definition, it's not correct.
All you were giving me,
Yeah, my rebuttal is go look up ambulate in the Oxford Dictionary. That's my rebuttal. I don't need to redefine terms for you. AJ, let me tell you, I'm not sure what you're. Hey, mute him for 1 second. AJ, not sure what.
Just stop voluntarily, but just stop voluntarily, AJ, and I won't have to hit this button,
Phillip,
please.
stop for a second.
Or not AJ, sorry.
Not sure what your physics understanding is, but as far as calling out the fallacies, you were doing a really great job of that. Most of his arguments were established based on a false dichotomy. He says this and this, A and B are the only two options you have to choose from. Which one are you going to choose? He doesn't allow for himself to be wrong, or even for himself
A
to
or not A.
Okay, and B is defined as not A. Do you understand basic algebra, basic logic? Do you? Do you? Okay, so you said, okay, well then in my A-B scenario, B is equal to not A. Do you understand that? Okay, so since you're a logical genius, shut up and let me finish. AJ, I'm not sure what your physical, hush up. I'm going to get to you in a second. Yes, I'm giving my synapses. Do you not understand what that is? Do you not understand that I'm giving my opinion on this debate? Shut the fuck up and you can answer in a second. AJ, like I said, you did fine with the fallacy call outs. I think you could have been a little bit more assertive with the false dichotomy that his entire argument is prevalent upon. Phillip, you had pretty good arguments as far as debate tactics. I'm going to say intellectually honest. You're not intellectually honest, but that's not the point of a debate. I think the point of a debate is to put your opponent in a position to where they struggle to answer the questions to give yourself the appearance of a win. And I think you did really well with that. To be honest, I don't think you are right, but I think you did well in presenting a fallacious argument that AJ was not prepared to respond to. So that was good on your behalf. I would suggest to you to strengthen your arguments by trying to give actual evidence of God by asking one question. See, your whole thing, everything about this universe, and you're missing the absolute winning question. Okay? Here's your winning question. Why was the universe in an extremely low entropic state at the beginning? Science can't explain that. Now, if you want to have an argument from God, what do you mean that's a presupposition? Did you not quote the second law? Time out. Did you not quote the second law of thermodynamics? Yes or no? Hold on. Don't. Yes or no? A or B? Yes or no? Did you not? Hold on. Shut up and listen. Did you not assert? Shut up and listen, because you're not fucking listening. Did you not assert that did you not bring up the second law of thermodynamics? Yes or no?
Yes, that puts energy to have a beginning. You were presupposing that energy is eternal.
Good. Great. No, I never said energy was eternal. You're making stuff up to make yourself seem like you've got this properly formed rebuttal. I'm trying to fucking help you out here, and you can't. You're so fucking full of yourself that you can't even fucking see it. There is a question that cannot be answered in science right now. If the second law of thermodynamics states that the universe is constantly increasing in entropy, then at some point in the far distant past, there was a point at which the universe was in its lowest entropy possible. Science doesn't have an explanation for that. You could have won with that argument, but you weren't even smart enough to know. You can't even shut your mouth long enough for me to fucking... No. Yeah, that's right. The Big Bang. I'm trying to help you out here, and you can't even see that. That is how full of yourself you are. You need to reevaluate your fucking... Hey, there's nobody presupposing anything. There's nobody presupposing anything. You don't know I am talking about... Okay, yeah, sure. You say I don't know the second law. That's good on you for saying that, but you have no proof of that. Okay, we're going to turn it over to the audience right now. Phillip, shut the fuck up. We're going to turn it over to the audience right now. Since it has gotten so late, here's what my offer to you would be. I'll either offer you tomorrow night or Sunday night. You can come on and talk with somebody who has an actual science education. And that's no slight. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what you've done in the past. You have not talking to somebody who's not just familiar with debate formats and familiar with dealing with jackasses like you, but also has a fucking education in science. Now, AJ, that's not a slide on you. I don't know what your physics background is. I just know you missed a few things that were pretty simple.
Oh yeah.
So
I
don't,
got my ass handed to me in that debate.
Tactics.
I wouldn't have been ready for those
All
arguments, to be blunt.
Brainy, go to the audience and pull from the audience questions for both Phillip and AJ, and be unbiased in the questions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna, if people can highlight me, you know how it goes, at me is the best way. I'm just gonna scroll up a little bit here. Please more fuel, blah 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 blah. Let's see
Phillip,
here.
which night do you have available, Friday or Sunday? And I'll give you time to put together an argument or have any. And I'm not going to cut you off or mute you or anything like that. We'll have a conversation, but I'm not going to let you fucking get away with saying bad shit either. I'm going to call you out on the bullshit. Friday or Sunday?
A debate between you and I.
It will be just me and you on my channel. I will have nobody else.
You've already lost. It's debate.
You haven't debated me. What part of the English language do you not understand? Do you know what a debate is? Do you know what a conversation is? Do you know what a conversation is? I was not debating you tonight, dipshit. I was a moderator. I simply stepped in when you got things wrong, like saying that ambulate means to move.
You put yourself in this position.
Literally, I didn't put myself in any position. Shut up. Are you? Oh, so you're scared? Okay, he's scared. No big deal. He's scared, guys. You're scared. You're scared. You're scared. Okay, don't try to redefine. Listen, do not try to redefine the term afraid. Do not try to redefine the term afraid. You're scared of this fucking size brain that I have, and I understand that. Flat earthers are scared too. Flat earthers are scared of me too. So you being scared of me is nothing fucking special.
The 12-inch flaccid laser.
Scary.
We can debate right after this. If you want
I thought you just a moment ago you said, "Oh, I have somewhere I have to go. I can't stay too long." Shut the fuck up. Friday or Sunday, we'll schedule it. Friday or Sunday. Friday or Sunday. Friday or Sunday. Which day do you want? We'll give it a full fucking 2 hours.
And he's Australia, just so you know, team. So
if you want to lose again. Okay,
yeah, I want to lose again. That's what I want.
We want to lose again, so we can. Well, we're in two different time zones, so
yeah, that's understandable. That's understandable. Friday or Sunday. So it'd be Saturday morning or Monday morning. Which one works better for you?
Saturday morning. Okay. You have to message me the details.
Yeah, no problem. I'll have Brainy send you the details, and I'll get everything set up tonight. That will be tomorrow night for me, and 24 hours essentially, about 23 for you. Is that okay with you if I set that up?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. I'll have Brainy reach out to you with all the details. And I'm not mad at you, Phillip, okay? I know I'm getting a little worked up, but I'm not mad at you. I don't think you're a bad dude for the assertions you made. Like I said, I'm trying to help you out with the arguments here. What?
Are there any more questions, or are we finished here?
Well, there is.
No, the questions are coming from Brainy.
We hadn't gotten to them, but that attitude is you wise to check it. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Whiny Phillip is already a no-show. Wait, what is this? Who's he? That Colin must be the wrong part of the. I was looking at something else.
Yeah. What?
Phillip, what is the total energy of the universe? That's an odd question. I don't know if I'd be able to answer that, but go ahead. I guess Phillip, what is the total energy of the universe? Okay, go. Wait, Phillip first. It was for Phillip. We'll let Phillip try.
The total. Well, you can't measure the energy. You could have hypotheticals on the weight.
Don't get me wrong. I don't know what they're asking either. So if AJ thinks he has an answer,
that's just a semantics game.
Okay, well, I'm curious now for me because I like learning. So AJ, what you seem to think you have the answer. What is the answer to that? Apparently, just go for it.
We can calculate the total amount of energy in the universe, and the total amount of energy net in the universe is 0.
Oh, I see. It's like a
no, but that's how you have to. No, but you have to phrase. You need to define what he means by energy. Does he mean the 3-dimensional structures? So if he's asking how many particles are there out there,
but
look, we'll just go on to the next question.
I'd have to learn more too. To be honest with you, Phillip, I mean, just to be blunt, I mean, I'm not afraid of admitting when I don't know something, and I'd have to study this subject more to be able to keep up with you. So that's fine. And that doesn't mean you're right or wrong. It just means that I'm fully able to admit when I don't know enough about a specific topic. So I am actually glad I had Team here in the end because he is more on physics and stuff. He's a little bit better than I am. Okay, so somebody just said, my super chat Webbird said, so yeah, let me pull that up because I have it right here. So let me just grab that because I have my Streamlabs with all the super chats. Here we go. Weber, there's your thing here. Okay, here we go. Where are you, Weber? Did you super chat today, Weber? You know what? Just send it to my Discord. Or just send it to my Discord, Weber, if you got a question. I don't see your super chat here. I don't think you must have super chatted the other day.
I think it's Web Beard.
Web
I think it's
Beard?
Web Beard.
I pronounced it too quick. But either way, I don't see you here, Webbeard, in the list. So unless no, I don't see you here in the list here. So just send it to my Discord, and I'll just kind of keep moving as we go. I don't see a ton of questions, I'll be blunt. Philip, they're mostly for Philip, let's face it. Phillip Kornelis Aman, would you debate Aaron Ra? Oh, that would be painful.
I'll debate anyone.
I don't want to be the person that offers that option to Aaron Ra. Let's just put it that way. You guys, somebody else can approach him with that one. I don't want to be responsible for that.
I'll debate anybody. But look, was that the last question, or
well, Philip, I'm trying to find them. I mean, it's just a list of you've seen a chat stream, right? It's just a list of words that I have to kind of.
I can't see the chat screen.
Well, no, you've seen one in the past. It's just a whole bunch of words scrolling a screen. So just bear with me, buddy. Gotta head out. No, okay, that's not. Okay, guys, remember just to @ me. It's really hard to see things that don't. Now I've got lots of comments to you in the super chats. That's going to be different though. Somebody said, "What is the unit for entropy?" Phil, what is the SI unit for entropy? Shit, I don't think I can remember it.
That's another semantics game. Entropy is just the disorder of subatomic particles. So if you're defining an atom or a neutrino, that would be the unit.
I mean, you don't need to know the units to know about entropy. Fair enough, is your argument.
What's the variable? Ignore the unit. What's the variable in the Boltzmann equation that defines entropy?
I don't remember what you're asking. I've done all this in school too.
Is that tangible energy, matter being eternal, is fallacious because of the second law?
No, the answer is S, the letter S. And just so you know, like an easy way for you guys to remember what the unit of entropy is just kidding. You know, JK, joules per Kelvin.
Oh,
you're just assigning whatever you want to a label. You're just playing semantics. Next question.
Well, but that's.
Are you redefining science? You literally brought up the third. Yeah, you literally brought up the second law of thermodynamics, right? And now you're saying that we're just making this shit up. You're the one that brought it up.
It works when you want to use it. It doesn't work. Typical.
Semantics.
I explain what it is. You're just playing semantics.
It's the same argument of that it was written word for word when it helps you, and the burning bush was a metaphor when it doesn't. It's the same fucking set of arguments. But anyways, let's move forward from that. I don't. Here we go. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
I was gonna say God's omnipotent except for brain cancer in kids, and then he can't do shit for it.
Is the current state of scientific knowledge complete? Does the current state of scientific knowledge provide enough information to claim that everything that exists must have a cause? So that's somebody calling into question your, Phil, I think they're calling into question your assertion that we know enough to make the claim of what we don't know already. And that's fair enough, because we don't know lots of stuff, I imagine, and then to claim that lack of information in Department B means cause A. Is a stretch, because we don't know if there's other letters between them in the end. We might have to move B to C, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like you're making assumptions about our level of understanding that it's at an ultimate, I think is what they're saying.
The first law of motion is empirical evidence.
The first law of motion doesn't apply to subatomic particles.
We see things moving. Next question.
Much better have him debate PhD Tony. Oh God, PhD Tony, poor guy. I don't think he needs the heart stress.
AB science would be fun.
What explains biblical contradictions? Since God cannot be wrong, what does concede? See, now we're getting into philosophy though, so I want to steer away from that, because I do think that's a debate to be had, but maybe not tonight, because we were just trying to get on the proof, the positive assertion thing there. But I think these all go in the same direction. Since God cannot be wrong, does conceding that the authors of the Bible could be wrong call the accuracy of the Bible into question? Does conceding that the authors, I mean, you'd have to, that's exactly the argument that people that use contradictions in the Bibles are making, is that what's right, the contradiction or the fact? Like, it can't be both.
Yeah, the idea is, are the writers of the Bible misinterpreting God's word when they speak on God's word? There's fallacies, there's logical contradictions within the Bible. And the question is the logical contradiction in the Bible because God himself is a logical contradiction? Or did the people who
here's a
wrote the
good one.
Bible make logical or misinterpret what God meant? And that resulted in a logical contradiction.
That's a theological topic. That's a theological
and that's fine.
question.
I agree. I agree.
And that's why we, and
It's
that's why we weren't.
philosophical and
Yeah, that's why we
theological.
weren't going to go into it too much. We were just having the conversation, talking.
Yeah.
This is how we learn. We all.
I was
together.
just clarifying
just
what
talking.
that question meant.
Yeah, we're just talking, Philip. Here, this is a good one. Does God have mass/energy? Is there an antimatter God? Ooh, so that's again, we're getting.
God is immaterial.
But it's in the. Go ahead. Sorry.
It says that God is an invisible God. Invisible meaning immaterial. And this comports with the laws of metaphysics and the laws of physics.
What about the law of opposites?
Yeah, the opposite.
Isn't that Plenty of Fish? Plentyoffish.com? Or?
No, that points to God creating. Yeah. I said earlier that God is outside the laws of logic.
What is the law of polarity? Is the law of polarity that you made up? Is it logic? Is it physics? What's the law of polarity?
Oh, Weber.
That everything in the universe has an opposite.
Okay, so what's the opposite of God? What's the anti-God?
Yeah, I do remember that.
No, that would just be material. That would just be the universe.
What's the opposite of 200 Kelvin? Which is a measurement of motion. So what is the opposite of 200 Kelvin?
The law of polarity in conjunction to what you can see.
You said everything. You said everything has an opposite. So I'm just asking.
Yeah, but your question is in conjunction with tangible energy and matter. So the opposite of tangible energy and matter is intangible, the intangible.
So that's like saying the opposite of cars is trucks. I mean, it really didn't make any sense there.
No, but the car is
I'm giving you a very specific question. What is the opposite of 200 degrees Kelvin?
You're not understanding. You're playing semantics.
No, I know.
Because you're assigning a name to a particular. That particular is tangible energy and matter. So therefore, the law of polarity states that tangible energy matter has an opposite, and the opposite is the intangible. So
I'd love to eat your words out, but I'm just not that hungry tonight.
Next question.
Hey, if you lose some of your super chats that you can't see them all, how the hell do I get them all back? I thought they all showed up in my Streamlabs typically. You can do Streamlabs.
No, go to your but you're doing it wrong, Brainy. Okay. Go to your YouTube studio where you have the live stream up. Well, yeah, that's where you're gonna read the super chats from.
But the viewer activity sometimes resets itself and it all disappears. You've never
No. Nope. Well, you should always be able to pull it up.
That's what happens to me. I've had it happen to other people. I've only got 3. I've got Robeeb for $10, 204 for 5, and Nat Shiro. That's all that comes up in my viewer activity. I've had other people tell me the same thing. I watched a stream the other day, and he had the same thing happen to him. They all just disappeared on him, and he had to open up Stream Elements to get them.
Is it on channel 3? Try channel 4.
It's never happened to me, but I don't know. It could happen to other people. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I watched it happen live yesterday, I think it was. I was watching somebody I watched, and that happened to them, so he couldn't get him up. And I told him go to Streamlabs, but of course I'm in Streamlabs. It's not helping me.
Look, I've got time for one more question.
I got a good one for you then here. It was sent to my Discord. Here, it's, where did I bring up my Discord? To AJ, if my first name is Benoit, what would be my last name, and how long until you nut while your mother is watching? Okay, I didn't read that in advance, just so you know.
So the answer is balls.
Fuck, I'm sorry.
I want to say, hey, Philip, as much as it might seem like I'm against you, Philip, I'm not against you personally, okay? I just want you to know that, to take that away from all this that we had tonight, these conversations. I'm not against you personally. I'm simply bringing
because deep down you're a Christian. God has already communicated.
I used to be a Christian. I got tired of that nonsensical bullshit. I got tired of the church telling me what I can and cannot do, who I should and should not love, and everything, and telling me that other religions who have been here longer than longer than Christianity on the face of this earth are just wrong because they're wrong because they don't follow the Bible. That's not an argument that's going to win over a critical thinker. That's an argument that's going to win over the ignorant masses of people who have no idea how to refute that argument. So I'm not a Christian at heart. I'm an ex-Christian at heart. And I've been loving this fucking agnostic, atheistic lifestyle that I've been living ever since, not caring whether or not there's just some magical, mythical wizard that everybody says believe is there when there's no evidence to that he's going to let you into heaven or not. Because guess what? When I get to when you get to heaven, when you get to your imaginary heaven, if it's real, you know what it's going to be filled with? A bunch of psychopathic murderers who fucking on their deathbed, when they were getting ready to go into the electric chair, said, God, please forgive me. Okay, God forgave. Hey, I asked for his forgiveness, truly believe. I guess I'm going to heaven, even though I fucking am a serial killer. No big deal. Well, that's going to be your neighbor in heaven, and good for fucking you. I would rather be in hell with Stephen Hawking, Einstein, and the rest of these fucktards that were fucking intelligent, having conversations, playing cards, using fucking ambulative dominoes while we do so.
Well done, sir.
But I'm not against you. I'm not against you, Phillip.
I'll have a very brief closing before I go.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
An apatheist is someone who knows that God exists, however, doesn't like the truth. I'll end it there. And can you send me the details to?
Yeah, we'll get it sent to you. It's all good. He'll talk to me. I'll talk to you. It's all good.
I'll set it up. I use a program called vMix. Do you just you're not going to be on camera, but do you at least have a camera? Because if you don't, I'm going to have to help you set something up so that you can join. But it's really, really simple. So even if we need to meet up an hour ahead of time for me to show you how to join to vMix with no problems, I'm totally okay with that.
Well, we can debate. I'd rather debate on Discord, but if you don't have Discord, we can
I have Discord. I have Discord. It's just with vMix, it's a direct connection between me and you instead of going through Discord and trying to port that in. I can do that, but it would be easier if we could. With the way that I show you, if you have some kind of evidence to present, you can always present your evidence through your through what's called a virtual camera. It's really something that if you're going to participate in debates, you should know about anyway. And I'd be more than happy to help you set that up and show you the ins and outs of it. Once you learn it, you'll be like, "Yep, I'm using this moving forward." So it's up to you. I'll leave it up to you, and I'm willing to help you out. So that way, you know, to show that there's no hard feelings, I'm willing to help you out, and just let me know. I'll get your email and stuff from Brainy, and I'll email you directly.
Okay, with that, I'm disconnecting the chat.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome to. We're gonna read some super chats and everything.
Take care, Phillip.
Jump out.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Have a good day. Thank you for getting up so early and joining us. Oh, he's gone. Fuck. Oh well.
Yeah. Phillip's a good guy. He's just a little his debate tactics are a little sketchy.
Yeah, he has. No, I'm going to tell you something. He does. He has a good way of approaching a debate from an intellectually dishonest position.
Yeah, it's the Darth Dawkins approach. He's got a script that he tries to hammer down people's throat and get them to accept a lot of false things, so that he can eventually get them to a point where he goes, "Here it is, I got you." So. Yeah, I mean, I knew where we were going. My main thing was just to hammer him on I knew he was going with gravity. That's why I specifically asked about gravity being unchanging, because I was like, I'll just nail him on this, and then all the rest of it. Like, you can talk about my worldview.
As the moon goes over a gravimeter, right? A gravimeter will detect the moon's presence as it goes over the gravimeter. That is in itself gravity, localized gravity, the localized acceleration force is being changed by the presence of another object coming around. But it has nothing to do with God.
Yeah, even greater than that, though. If we go back into the Planck epic, that when the four forces were unified, like that precludes any definition of God that you want to come up with. That, like, any monotheistic God is incompatible with gravity because of that.
Yeah, no.
Given his premise, but another theological debater might be able to actually go against that assertion from you as well. But given his premise, that is correct.
Well, and I've watched every debate he's posted on his channel multiple times, so I was pretty well knew where we were going. And my thing, like, I could have just obliterated him from the beginning, but that's not very fun. I wanted to have like a decent debate for Brainy so that he could.
Oh no, that was a good debate.
Make a fun show.
It's when he started gobbling like a chicken though. Fuck. By the way, here, just hold on. I have. You guys have no idea. I asked somebody to clip it and it's already been done. Who was it? It was what's his name there? Who sent it to me? Just call yourself out. You're on my Discord, but just here. I'll turn this up. You guys can hear it. Here, listen. Oh, wait. I gotta get so you can hear it. Here you go. Get ready for gobble. Okay, you're good.
Yeah, that's like, how can you take yourself seriously when you walk into a intellectual discussion and you do that? It means you do not take yourself seriously when you do that.
Well, and then how can you claim a win afterwards? You got nothing. I right over you.
And to be clear, Brainy has a screen capture of the chat that we were having where he agreed that anyone doing that very thing would be an automatic forfeit. So
this is when I think I just happened to hit print screen at the one moment where you blinked, but that was your general that was the general expression, and I caught it. I was like, oh, look at the poor guy.
Yeah, when you put it up there, it was great. I was like, wait, am I asleep? What happened?
He wasn't paying attention, and I just took this and I dragged this down here, and I put it over because he was on this side. I put it over top of him for a second.
I want to show y'all something that I caught yesterday when I was on the channel with Fight. Hold on, let me I'm supposed to be on his channel tomorrow too. Fuck. I gotta talk to him, make sure that he's
live in 1 minute, everybody, just so you all know.
Who is?
Fight. He's live in like 1 minute.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me. I'm.
You move the rabbit ears around, you might get the super chat signal back. Yeah, no. By the way, just so you know, if you ever have it hiccup, what mine will do is if my activity window, if it hiccups, like sometimes it'll just like reload itself, and all of a sudden my supers will change from Canadian to American, so the value will drop because it'll drop by 30%. All of a sudden, you're like, what the fuck just happened? But then it lost the CAD part, and then any super chats that were previous to when that refreshment happened, they disappear. So, and I had
look at that face right there. Look at that face.
I was able to get it just if you ever need to. You can get it out of your monetization on your dashboard. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I know you can get it from there too.
That's where
I've never heard of that. Well, I mean, I'll definitely keep it in mind that it could possibly happen. But
it happened. I was watching a tech. What is it? A mining streamer yesterday. He was son of a tech, and then halfway through, he's like, none of the super chats you guys have been super chatting are in the viewer activity. And I said, go get a Streamlabs, log into Streamlabs, it'll have it. But this would have been a better suggestion. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, that's a nice look. Oh no. Was that before or after he touched the COVID to his face?
That was mid-COVID. So he was actually, this was the process of transferring COVID from his hand to his nose right now. But I just thought it paused on my screen yesterday like this, and I was like, yep, clipping that. If I'd never get away from that.
Well, now I have gobbling. I have gobble. This is gonna be great. I just have to put it in I have to put it in something and like turn up the volume a little bit and clean it up so you can hear it a bit better. But yeah.
Now, hey, people want to know about the guests that were on here. We have quite a bit of late viewers. So,
they're in the description.
Well, AJ.
But I can put them in
are
the
they?
title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
AJ,
I'm sorry to the people that was a flat Earth at the beginning. I actually misunderstood AJ's. I think, did you say something about him being a flat earther to me? I don't know where the fuck.
Well, I mentioned that he is a flat earther, okay. But I said that like it's not.
No,
really
you told me that it
earther.
wasn't really. That's fine. I messed up there, and I fixed the. People were like, "Why is the description not right?" and everything. So I fixed that. Sorry, go ahead, team. You were saying. My bad.
Oh, I was just saying, AJ. Before people start leaving to head over to fights, AJ, why don't you let people know a little bit about who you are and where they can find your channel at?
So, well, my channel is completely vacant. I'm one of those people that they assume to be a flat earth or a globe earth shill because I have no content on my channel. Like, I just stumbled across Phillip in the comments on another thing, and we kind of had a back and forth, and it became clear very early on if we were going to have any sort of decent debate that it had to be moderated. And I just kept telling him, like, look, if you want to find a venue, I'll look for a venue, whatever you want to do, but we're not having a debate without a moderator. And I feel pretty justified in that claim. And
you're lucky you did that.
I'm glad I brought Team too, because Team's got a bit more experience.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate Brainy for hosting. Thank you, team, for moderating. And to be clear, I took no offense earlier from any of the stuff you said. Like, I have no science I mean, I have a degree in electrical engineering, but it has nothing to do with any of the, like, cosmology stuff. I'm vaguely familiar with the laws of thermodynamics, Newtonian mechanics, and stuff like that. But I'm not and
Yeah,
a lot of it.
see, like when he was first talking, when he brought up the zeroth law, and this was
Yeah.
before I ever interjected. This was actually when he was talking to you. That was the first thing I was like, oh, he should jump on this. And you didn't jump on it. And I was like, okay, so maybe this is a little outside of what he what he knows inherently, like and believe me when I say this, I'm not being insulting here. I'm not,
Oh,
or I'm
no,
not trying to.
you are not going to offend me, I promise.
But that's the way it actually felt. It felt as if like he was using terms that he believed you wouldn't be aware of to establish his argument, which is a good debate tactic. I don't think it's good for intellectually honest conversation, but it's great for a debate, because if you can get the other guy on the ropes and you can get him, then you can start a certain other things that are gonna go unchallenged.
So honestly, I think in all of his word salad, I think I missed his reference to the zeroth law, because I've got, like, some of the stuff I sent to Brainy was actual definitions of the Newton's laws and the laws of thermodynamics, because I've seen in so many other debates where Philip just completely butchered them. And that's what, like, I just if I had caught his reference to it, I would have hammered him on it. And I was prepared for that. I just missed it, is all that boils down to.
That happens. That does happen. Now, one thing that really bothered me about him is when he said, when I brought up the second law of thermodynamics, and I said, hey, what does that mean? What's the equations? What's the unit of measure? The SI units? What's the variable used to describe the Boltzmann equation for entropy? He didn't know that and said, we just made it up. No, this is like the stuff you brought up. Nobody inserted second law of thermodynamics until you fucking brought it up. Once he brought it up, then it was clear that he wasn't expecting somebody else to challenge him on that. That's not a common topic for most people.
So he mostly hangs out and debates people that are more philosophy and religious type stuff. So he likes to throw the science in to mess with those folks, and then he throws enough philosophy and religion in to mess with the science people. So he's one of those guys who knows just enough about both to keep people off their footing and keep them off balance a little bit. So, like, he's not a bad debater, but he was never going to win based on the argument that he had. And he has actually changed it a little bit. He used to start off just by asking people about his favorite were tangible matter and energy, and would go from there. And if he wanted to, like, I was first going to make sure that we got a definition of God, so he didn't just go, here's some nebulous stuff, that's God. So we had a definition to stick to, and two, that he actually presented something like an argument ahead of time, instead of just going along with the probing about my worldview. But if we were going to go down the road of my worldview, I'm like, okay, that's fine, but you're proving a God that's contingent on my worldview, so that's not a very good God.
Yeah. And that's true too. I mean, for you to fall in line with his belief system, you already have to have a presupposition that a God exists.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Yeah. Sorry. I do have to start getting this wrapped up, so we should go over the super chats. We can
sure.
Just because my wife's already in like a Zoom meeting, and it's actually my little girl's birthday. So so we got a cake to do after. As soon as
I was gonna say, so it's all good. If we wait a couple hours, it'll be my birthday too.
There you go. Happy birthday.
How do you eat cake on Zoom? That's what I want to know.
She's got a Zoom meeting, and then we got to do the cake. So she's in the middle. Like, that's why it's awfully quiet up there. I realized, because the kids are probably watching a TV while she sits in a bedroom doing a Zoom meeting or something. So yeah.
Well, as he gets to the super chats, I do want to say one last thing. AJ, you didn't do bad for your first debate. You said this was your
thank you.
first one, right?
Yeah.
I suggest doing what I did on my first debates. Go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes. Try to recognize your mistakes and be accepting that you did make mistakes. Just like I did in my very first debate, and learn from them so that you don't, you present yourself as a better debater on your next one, because I doubt it'll be your last one. So you can only grow from this.
Well, thank you.
No, this is perfect. And team, thanks for coming. And I'll read the super chats now, but thanks for coming and helping out with that. You definitely, obviously this debate moderating is definitely an experience. Well, debating and moderating, they're both kind of experience based. So I do, I do appreciate you coming in and kind of helping me out.
I love and hate moderating.
I know, I agree. I understand exactly what you're talking about. I understand.
I love it because it gives me a chance to sit back and let everybody else do the work and kind of see where I came from myself. But then when somebody says something wrong, to have to bite your tongue and not say anything, because there were so many times I just muted my mic and I was like, wow. I don't even know what to say about this.
And then when you do actually try to be like, hey, listen, why don't we what about this? And you try to steer it, and then the person gobbles like a turkey at you. You just fuck, those people make me so annoyed. I'm like, God damn,
I want to see Phillip debate Rad Vlad. That's what I want to see.
All right, that would be funny. So now I've been challenged to. Oh, go ahead, AJ. Get a last word in before I do the super chats.
Oh no, I'm all good. I will.
Okay, because all I was gonna say is I've been challenged to read a name, and it is. So I got. The fuck symbol is that?
My favorite name on the internet is Nathashiro.
I can't figure. I think that's $5, but it's PLN, and then there's a weird symbol in front of it that obviously represents PLN dollars.
PlayStation Network dollars.
That's the one. Yeah. So. Either that or it's 15. No, I think it's a 5. Anyways, okay. So 5, whatever the fuck those things are, from. Okay, now I've been challenged to read this name appropriately, and here we go. Okay, so. Merrick Zajac.
Oh,
Zajac?
Mark.
Merrick Zajac.
Mark Zajac.
See, I fucked it up. See,
I think I said that right. He's super chatted me before. He or she, I'm not sure, but they have super.
Merrick.
Merrick.
Zajac.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna get this timestamp to him and show him that I have failed. Apparently, there's a few of us. Most of us have. I've been told by him. Where is it here?
Most of us have.
Yeah, he said most of us have failed pronouncing that. And I said I got this, but I didn't. So there. Thank you very much. He's a new member as well, I believe. So thank you very much for all of that. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I really do, you guys. Honestly, I only have a few patrons. But you know what? That patron money, 30-something bucks a month in American, it ends up going into an account. Thank you very much to that one. I'll read that in just a second as well. Oh, I'm team favorite name. I'm team favorite name. Nathashiro.
Nathashiro.
Those Nathashiro. Those go into the U.S. Patron donations end up going into my PayPal as U.S. money, and when I buy modules like that light leak effect for the intro and stuff like that for my my editor, I actually can buy them with U.S. dollars out of my PayPal, which is really convenient because I don't eat charges to turn it into Canadian and all that stuff, so it's really nice. And then, yeah, so that PayPal money 100% doesn't even ever make it to my bank account. It usually goes into things that I can purchase with US dollars for the channel, and then save a bit there. Okay, so go ahead.
Quick question. Can I jump in? For actually you and team, do you guys have Patreons listed on your channels? Because I need to contribute to both of you guys because I appreciate the work you put in.
Yeah, and the Patreon. Well,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I appreciate it too. I won't lie to people. The Patreon, because it's harder to get them into member streams and shit, and so I've got this I wish there was a way to approve certain people to be into those or something like that, because then you get to approve the Patreon list. But we also get more out of Patreon. Only takes a couple bucks, whereas YouTube takes 30%, right? So
yeah.
But the way I always tell people is like this: you'll get more out of being a channel member. I'll get more out of you being a Patreon. I'm okay with you getting more and becoming a channel member.
That's a good way of saying it.
Versus me getting more, because you get more benefits out of it. It's not about me, it's about you. You know, I appreciate the offer of support and whatnot, but it's really about the viewer. As far as I'm concerned, it's about the viewer. So,
and if you know that choose to do the Patreon, then that's obviously we appreciate it. But you like Team's saying 100%, you're gonna get more as a member. So just everybody take that into account when they make those decisions.
Well, I've already gotten more than I could hope for, so
we appreciate.
I just assume go Patreon.
Hey man, I appreciate you bringing the option to me to host this. So let's get through these supers, and then I'll get to my wife, and I won't get in too much trouble.
And I promised you it would be entertaining. So
listen,
it was entertaining.
Hey AJ, I want to tell you right now. Part of this is because of Team, and Team's a big draw, and I get it. You know, we got to put that big head on him. But at the same time, I'll tell you right now, AJ, that this was the highest number of people I've had in a stream now. Was this
really?
Yeah, this is 160. We had 180 people, I think, at one point.
I tried to pass the word around and get some of my crew on there.
No,
so
I appreciate it. This was, I mean, that
bit.
goes a long way to the algorithm sees that interaction and it goes, hey, baby, you know, so don't worry.
Oh, hail the algorithm.
It makes a big difference. Everybody hit like if you haven't, by the way. Okay, so we got Webbard. They see it's spelled differently in different locations. This one's spelled Webbard, but it's Webbeard in other places. No, it's 2 A's. Webbard. It's 2 A's.
I thought it was Beard.
No, it's Aard. So it's Webbard.
Oh, okay.
So it's AJ. If my name was okay, I'm gonna read it again just because it was funny. If my name was Benoit, what would be my last name, and how would it take? How long would it take to nut while my mother watches? I don't know that card. He said it's from a cartoon. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's from Archer. The show referenced.
I love my favorite Archer is when he's like. He's like talking about what he's afraid of, and they're like, "What else?" He's like, "Aneurysms. They could happen to anybody at any time." And he just starts like looking around, all scared. All of a sudden, he just starts fucking darting around the room, like, oh. He's like,
very good. Yeah, as soon as I heard the question, I'm like, "Oh, Archer reference." Somebody
oh my god,
shirt.
It's so funny. Sarcastic barman for 2. So that was €5 from Webbard. Thank you very much. Sarcastic barman for 2 Great British pounds. Where do I find these people? And I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't. This guy did. You can blame him. Shimoku Fuji Warrior. I've never seen that name before, and I really appreciate your donations and you coming around. 100 rubles. So he's playing Tarkov on his side, on the side. That's where I get my rubles.
What was the name of that person that you said you've never seen come around?
Shmoko Fuji Warrior. SHMOKOU FUJ or JY or FUJI.
I'm not sure I've ever. Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen that name either.
Welcome
Shmoku. Welcome
Shmoku. Thank you.
Yes, Shmoku Fuji Warrior is a beast.
Team is wrong. He's not able to pronounce my name for $2 American or 2 Canadian for both of them there. By the way, thank you again.
I pronounce it perfectly. It's Natishiro. Natheshiro.
Tell us about the vanilla and desperation, of course. Okay,
Natheshiro.
I'll tell everybody who doesn't know if they're here in a minute about the vanilla. Okay, so thank you very much. He said, tangible matter, omnipresent curvature, energy before second particular tangible gravity? Fucking lost me even. Tangible matter, omnipresent curvature, energy before second particular tangible gravity with a question mark. I don't really even know. That's all like gibberish to me. Because it was his conversation at the time. I remember when it came in. So thank you very much. You guys are crazy keeping on donating here. I gotta catch up now. Okay, so truth nerds, tangible matter wouldn't put my hand into the sun for €2. And then he gave €2 again. Not enough vinaigrette for all this word salad.
Yeah, no shit.
Thank you very much, Truth Nerds. Tommy Gronvold for 20 NOK KR. I don't know what that is.
Nokia dollars.
Nokia dollars. I love the way you think. I'm a bit late, but is this Skidmark's brother? Skizmo. He's not the first one to say that. I think they got that comment.
You know, I don't. Yeah, but I think that Spurs. I think this guy is a little bit more willing to engage in conversation than Spurs is. Spurs is kind of he's a debate veteran, so he really knows how to avoid questions, avoid answers, to assert things that are hidden in other assertions. Spurs is not a bad debater as well, but again, he is not a bad debater, but he's not a good person. He's not a good person to
person.
say, hey, I want to. Yeah, well, he's not somebody you would say.
There.
I would, like to have an intellectual conversation with you. You're losing if you think that's about to happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat so much shit. Not blaming you guys for talking. I'm saying, like, I'm just realizing how much time has gone by. Fuck. So we're almost done. It's okay. We just gotta get through these. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Do I seem fucking worried? €2. I believe in God and globe Earth. False dichotomy. There you go. And that was from Truth Nerds again. Thank you. And that is also a very good point.
Well done.
Yeah, Bjorn
Kamitz.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, AJ. Spit her out, please.
I was gonna say, to be very clear, I'm not arguing against God. Like, I happen to not believe in God. I used to, but that's
No,
but
I like to try. I know you mean.
Like,
you don't want to try to make that
over people in general. That
well, we actually have
God.
Holy Smalls who gets Holy Smalls is religious, and he's in here all the time, super chatting and chatting. So I mean, clearly we're not being so offensive to religious people. They must understand that where we stand is we just stand for science and evidence-based information. So Bjorn Kamitz, thank you very much. That's a member as well. If I missed anybody else that's a member and didn't say it, I apologize. But yeah, Bjorn Kamitz, I recognize the name. It's been fun and all, but seriously, Phillip sounds like Trump shouting, "They stole it! They stole it!" And most of the people are like rolling their eyes, "All have a good day / evening." And then she still hung out, probably laying in bed. Cygnus TSP, $5 American. Thank you very much as well. Brainy Beaver deserves more, but I owe $11,000 in taxes, so holy shit. And I said to you at the chat at the time, I was like, thank you very much, but oh my God, to your tax situation. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no shit.
Holy Smalls. Now, sometimes that either means you had a really bad tax person or you had a really good year. So depending, maybe that's a good thing for you. But either way, I apologize. You still have to hand over that kind of money. Holy Smalls, as we said, $21 American. I better show some love while Team is here. At least he can say my name. And I did say Holly Smalls the first time, so I still fucked it up. The Key Wessel for...
love you, Holy Smalls.
Yeah, we love you, buddy. Thank you.
Had to throw that out.
We do. No, absolutely. For $2 New Zealand dollars, Kaweasel said nothing. But thank you very much. I really appreciate the donation. Holy Smalls, again, for another... You are insane. Holy shit, I'm just looking at these. Wow, buddy. 21 more American dollars. It says American. It must be what you gave. Phillip makes me want to hate God. Why? Pretty sure this is evidence God hates us. Just watching the debate. That is funny. See that? I love that. That's a good sense of humor. Good job, Holy. 21 American dollars again from Holy Smalls. Hey, Phillip, please listen. He's listening. You know he is. You cannot use the Bible to prove God exists. It is circular logic at best. If you want to go this route, you need to use other religions' scripture to prove your God. That is actually kind of fair. And that's coming from somebody who is religious, by the way, if you're watching, Phillip, just so you know. Nat Yeshiro. Say it again.
Nat Heishiro.
Nat Yeshiro. For $2 Canadian, hi. And I said, hi, how are you doing as well? And I responded, but I'm going to be honest with you. Chat went by and I didn't read the response. So I hope you are well, Natishiro, and thank you very much for the donation. It is very much appreciated. Truth Nerds for €2 as well. Is listening to Phillip a top cause of brain cancer? And the answer to that is probably, to be honest with you. Holy small.
Well, I'm in big trouble then because I've listened to all of his stuff.
Holy Smalls. Okay, well, Phillip, Holy Smalls, I will actually reference that to my lady. Okay, and I'll say, listen, this was given to me right at the end and said, for your lady and her troubles. Or I'm going to read that, what it says. But where are we? Phillip, Hulk said it best. Puny God, cancer is stronger than your God. Puny God, cancer is stronger than your God. See, that's the whole thing about can't God cure people with cancer and save them, like the good God. That's US $5.
Cancer is stronger. Warlords and third world countries are stronger.
People that kidnap children at schools,
they're stronger.
They're stronger. All of them are stronger. Sorry, we're not trying to rip into you there, Holy. We got to be careful.
Hey, also, Brady, 1 second. The Key Weasel, I told him to if he'll go ahead or if they will go ahead and tag me in the chat with the comment that you want to read out for your super chat, because he said he didn't mean to not put a message there.
Oh yeah,
just tag me in the comment, Weasel, and I will read it out for you for your super chat.
Canadian. Oh, he's
And thank you for supporting this channel.
You know what? It sits right there. I see it right there. He said it was going to say Canadian Beaver, the best Beaver.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
I see
you.
it now. Okay,
there it
good
is.
deal.
Thank you very much, Kuisel. And yes, by all means, if anybody ever...
Kuisel, your comment is debatable, by the way.
So here, if anybody ever has that happen, just at me. Just a bunch of ats. I'll get it. You glow orange on my screen here. So let's just keep going because we got to get through these. And you guys are insane. I can't believe it. You guys are really nice. Netishiro. There you go. The law of thermodynamics for $5 Canadian. Can I have 5 Canadian Monopoly coins? The law of thermodynamics is only proven inside our universe, not outside, since we have no info about the outside. And that is also a valid point that you were making. 204 for $5 Canadian. I know this guy from work. I worked with him before. Like, he's local. My career runs on thermodynamics. You don't know anything about it, apparently. Brainy knows his stuff. Well,
0.
I know. I'm okay. I'm not gonna lie. I've spent a lot of time YouTubing and pushing a little bit of the stuff I used to know out. I've been watching too much like Pop That Kitty or something. What is that song by? What is that fucking one that's on the radio all of a sudden? Pop that kitty down low.
Did
my
you say
kid
Brokeback Kitty?
No, pop that kitty down low. That song came on,
pop,
and my wife comes in, and my son is going, "Pop that kitty down low" to the cat, and she just fucking looks at me, and I'm like, "Yeah, it came on the radio, and I wasn't quick enough to turn it off."
When you first said that, I thought you said Brokeback Kitty gets low.
Brokeback Kitty.
And I was like, whoa.
Is that like Brokeback Mountain Kitty?
I don't know. That's what I thought you said. That's all I was like, did you just say Brokeback Kitty?
10 USD from Robib. If sense was something you could beat into someone, I'm sure you guys would have multiple different colored belts. Thanks. Take my money. Takes my money.
Yes.
And yes, we would all be, team would absolutely be a black belt, and there would be diamond studs on the end that he uses to make them bleed with. That's how that goes.
There's an image.
Oh shoot!
I'm a diamond studded butt plug.
Give me 1 second. I pressed the wrong button, boys and girls. Refresh the right page.
Nobody ever clipped that either. What I just said.
It's already on flat derp now. You're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I got my new list here that's updated for all you freaks keeping on leaving me donations. Thank you very much, by the way. From you fucking suck. The name
I'll
is
help you out. Nat Heishiro.
Nat Heishiro. Canadian $2. He just likes hearing me fuck the name up. Oh, I'm team favorite name, Nat Heishiro. And then another 2 Canadian from Nat Heishiro. Nat Heishiro.
Yeah, trust me.
I'm working on it. Canadian $2. Team is wrong. He is not able to pronounce my name, so we'll see.
It is perfectly pronounced. Trust me. I'm reading it phonetically. Nat Heishiro.
So
Nat Heishiro.
For USD, $11 USD from Dib, also a member, I believe. You crazy animal, you. Tell us about the vanilla and desperation, of course. And for anybody who doesn't know, the quick spiel is vanilla comes from beaver buttholes, and not technically, but kind of. Go look it up. Like, just type it in, vanilla beaver bumhole. You'll get all kinds of
I thought that was like raspberry flavoring.
No, vanilla. No, that's in fact, by the way, and I'm going to tell you all right now, I did an extensive search into whether or not we actually have all tasted vanilla ass out of beavers, and the answer is probably not often, but you have had something that was decadent enough at one point that they used beaver ass flavor.
I've had so much worse. That's not the least of my problems. That's
so for Holy Smalls again, you're insane. For 21 American dollars, you realize you don't have to super chat to me ever again, right? Like please do, but that's insane. Here you go, Beaver, for your lady, but buy her a couple of coffee or bacon or something nice. Actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. I bought her chocolates today because she did all the gift buying and everything. I bought her a box of chocolates that was like not cheap. In fact, it made my eyes bleed when I saw the price of it, but it's like handcrafted chocolates, and I left a note on it saying thank you for all of the work you have done taking care of our beautiful children on their birthdays. And that she got that before I streamed, so at least I got a little bit of buffer zone there.
I'm going to call out some inconsistencies in that super chat. For $21, he should be able to buy her a coffee and a bacon, or coffee flavored bacon. So, or bacon flavored coffee, any one of
The
those
box
things.
of
So
chocolates I
don't
bought
limit
was
her
$40.
to
But
don't
Canadian,
limit
so that's
her
close.
to coffee or bacon at all.
So Holy, I'm telling you right now, you paid for that chocolate for my wife today. So thank you very much. That is actually a true statement. He puts up with me all day, man. That's like enough. Like, Jesus. Skits Crasher for $5 USD. My physics degree caught on fire listening to that guy. That actually is something you got to be careful of. In fact, we should have a warning that you need to cover up physics degrees with tinfoil, because the fucking heat from that dumpster fire will catch anything on fire that is as brittle as a physics degree on a wall, or is flammable. And then from Nat Heishiro, please don't listen. Team pronunciation of my name.
Listen to my pronunciation. I do it better than anybody else does it. It's Nat Heishiro. It's either Nat Heishiro, Natheshiro, Natia Shiro.
He or she is laughing their ass off right now.
According to the law of excluded middle, it's pronounced Natishiro.
Yeah, that's right. The law of excluded middle.
Okay, we gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna be in trouble as it is.
The law of inclusive exclusions says that I am right with everything I say.
So we got another super chat from for $1 Canadian from Natishiro. And oh my God, Skits Crasher for 5 more American. Monday, 3/29 in the U.S. is the commemoration of Vietnam War. Remember to thank a Vietnam War veteran. That is a good point. Thank you.
Thank everyone for their service.
Thank everybody for their service. Absolutely, all the time. And the last thing I would mention is, hey, you guys remember that Jordan girl? She was hoping to possibly come on today. And of course, I was having the debate, so I told her we were a little busy today. However, if you guys want to give her a little bit of love, you could always, I don't remember the link to her channel, but I think it's Bad Astra. Just search Bad Astra. It's meant to be like that Bad Astra, 2 words, Bad Astra. So just search Bad Astra. If anybody's got the link and you want to throw it in the chats, that would help her out greatly. She was hoping, she's going to be releasing a video tomorrow, and she was hoping to get some people in there hitting the like button and giving it some love. So let's make another, let's by extension, this is a brainy beaver baby that I found out there, and Team Skeptic will have spread his seed forth and have spawned babies of babies.
Are my babies now having babies?
Maybe your babies have been making babies, because I plopped into her comments one time and I saw a few people from our chats even, and I said, hey, you got the right kind of idea, and if you want to come on sometime, send me an email. And it took her about a month, and then finally I got an email one day saying, oh my God, I just saw your comment, I'd love to come on. And now she's kind of been poking around. I think the chat actually probably knows her a little bit. They've been going
now
and giving her love.
She's a stage 5 clinger. Now she's a stage 5
here.
clinger.
She's here. She's one of us. It's all good. We'll take her. She's cool shit, honestly. If you saw the chat with her, you should chat with her sometime. She's fun. So, anyways, yeah, and she's actually, by the way, she's got like a fucking physics degree, and her wife has like a physics degree, and like they're both like physics degree educated, and she's done film and stuff. Or can't quite remember what her education is, but they're educated, like well educated people. So she's smart. She's smart shit. She knows her stuff. So yeah. So anyways, so if anybody knows that, actually that might be right there, Bad Astra. It's in the chat. So I think that's it. I want to double check that I didn't miss any super chats that suddenly just came in on me, other than that one from Skits Crasher. You guys are absolutely insane. I can't thank you enough for this kind of night for me. AJ, I really appreciate you bringing this dumpster fire to my doorstep.
Thank you for hosting, sir. And again, thanks to Team for
thank you, Team. Thank you for coming and babysitting Brainy Beaver in his learning to debate moderate here. That's because he's jumping.
Jack Me Off says you rock, Brainy. Jack Me Off.
Well, thank you very much, Jack Me Off. I love getting jacked off too.
The H is silent. The H is silent.
And give Phillip a little love too. He's got a lot of funny content. It's basically more dumpster fire debates, but check his channel out too. It's worth giving him a shout out.
Oh, Natty Shiro, you're too nice to me. Thank you very much for the Canadian $1. I am gonna hit the outro button.
Those super chats. Let me tell you something. Those super chats are self-serving, so you don't have to thank him. He's already being thanked by himself because he just wants to hear us read out his name. Because that Nathe Shiro. Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to get out. As much as I love the donations and all the love you guys are giving me, and you know what, Team, I listened to your little spiel last night about getting off, and I feel it. I feel it, because this is what's happening right now. I need to hit that end button, and I don't want to. You guys are amazing, and when you're giving me this kind of love, and everybody's just being so nice, it's you know, like this, I'm going to say the same thing Team said, is that you guys mean a lot to me. Everybody, the members, the super chatters, the viewers, the clingers, the lurkers, everybody. And this channel wouldn't exist if there wasn't people that were tuning in to watch the dumpster fires and watch me say crazy ADHD related things. So.
Can I ask you a question before we get off? It's a non-philosophical question. It's actually very tangible, okay? If you're in the safari right now, you're in the safari and you and your uncle, you're like, hey, let's go on this elephant safari, and you have trouble getting on your elephant, and your uncle helps you on the elephant, right? You go through your safari, you take wonderful pictures of lions, tigers, monkeys, apes, whatever, gorillas, and then you get back home, you get back to your starting point. Now, you have no problem getting off of your elephant, but Jack needs help. Do you help your Uncle Jack off the elephant?
That's awesome.
I do.
I'll do it.
You guys are nice guys. I think that should end it right there.
Yeah, that's how we're ending. Okay, have a good night, guys. Everybody give a wave. Say goodbye, you two. Team, what do you got going on real quick? 10 seconds.
Tomorrow night we'll be destroying this guy on his lack of fucking physics understanding.
I will be there for that. So yeah, and then AJ, you just, other than being awesome, go find some more people to bring back to me. That was amazing.
I will do that. Everybody, like and subscribe.
That's right. Thank you very much. Everybody have a good night. Thank you very much.